Chapter 282. Sure Sui seemed to have said something, but Xiangyi's mind was blank and she didn't hear it clearly. She only remembered that his breath was hot. Unbeknownst to her, this scene was extremely beautiful in the viewfinder of Ryan's camera. The little princess, who was in love, was confused and helpless. Her eyes were blank. The vampire, who had finally succeeded, had a strong sense of aggression and danger in his eyes. She was in a mess, but obsessed. She was drowning, but unwilling to struggle. Redemption? Sorry, there's no need. Please follow me and fall into darkness together. The last set of scenes was full of symbolic meaning. The little princess was standing by the window. Behind her was the vampire, who was holding her waist and restraining her. The man's lips were only half an inch away from her fair neck, but he hesitated and didn't bite down. The next second, the little princess raised her hand and closed the window. The last trace of light in the castle disappeared. Everything was shrouded in darkness, as if time had been sealed and the past had been locked. However, in the retro-carved mirror, there was a reflection of their interlocked hands. Okay, that's it. Ryan announced the end of the shoot. Only then did the crew wake up from their daze. It turned out that they had unknowingly been substituted into the story. This story wasn't exactly a fairy tale love story. On the contrary, it was a little dark, but it was more shocking and memorable. Ryan and the others went to watch the film. Xiangyi stood rooted to the ground and didn't come back to her senses. It wasn't until Sure Sui flicked her forehead that Xiangyi looked up slowly. Sure Sui said calmly, "It's just a story." Xiangyi. Yeah. She was just in a trance for a moment. Were the lives she saw when she was traveling through worlds real or illusory? Were they just insignificant stories? Xiangyi. Sure Sui suddenly called her full name. He didn't use his usual teasing tone. Instead, he said in a gentle and serious tone, "You are you, not someone else. Nothing can erase your existence." Existence, the girl subconsciously placed her palm on his chest. A deep and powerful heartbeat. She breathed a sigh of relief and finally pulled away from those chaotic thoughts. The next second, Sure Sui clicked her tongue and said in a drawling tone, "Are you taking advantage of your brother so blatantly now?" Xiangyi. No, I didn't. Sure Sui, don't spout nonsense. She quickly retracted her hand, her expression especially indifferent and calm. My hand is dirty, let me wipe it. Sure Sui raised his eyebrows. Then where are you going to wipe your dirty hands next time? He said lazily, as if he was coaxing a child. Can you give me a notice in advance? After all, I'm already so old, and I can't stand your torment. Xiangyi. Ahem, okay. The girl lifted her skirt and fled in a sorry state. Due to Viscount Albert's warm invitation, Xiangyi and the others stayed at the castle for the night. When it was almost time for dinner, Albert arrived at the dining room as if nothing had happened. He thought that he was the first to arrive, but to his surprise, Sure Sui, Xiangqi, Sophia, and the others were all there. Albert was speechless. Sorry, I lost. Everyone discussed various topics, such as finance, art, red wine, and so on. By the time the maids served the dishes that Xiangyi had cooked, all the topics came to an abrupt end. Albert immediately laid out a white tablecloth for Miss Sophia and himself, and prepared for the meal. He turned around, only to discover that Xiangqi was calmly taking out of his large bag. He took out an oversized bowl. Albert was dumbfounded. Damn it, that works too. Chapter 283. Sensing everyone's surprised gazes, Xiangqi said seriously, "When it comes to hygiene, start with preparing your own utensils." Everyone. As if I'll believe you. But soon, everyone's attention was attracted by the food on the table. There was a chef in the castle, and Xiangyi thought that not everyone would like her cooking. So she made two simple dishes, a beef patty and a fried mushroom. The beef patty was made from beef tenderloin, which was marinated slightly before frying in a pan. The heat was controlled just right, and it could be dipped in black pepper sauce or tomato sauce according to one's taste. The fried mushroom was made from fresh mushrooms picked in the afternoon, mixed with flour, egg, and other ingredients, and fried. It was then rolled in a circle of chili powder, cumin, and other condiments that the girl had brought from China. The aroma was overflowing, and it went straight into everyone's nostrils. Albert felt that he was a devout believer. In the past, when he ate with others, he would lead them in praying. But today he recited the prayers very quickly, and then announced that it was time to eat. The beef patty was exquisitely made, and Albert bit off half of it in one bite. The juices of the meat filling splattered, and it bloomed beautifully on his taste buds. Albert's gaze drifted. Was this heaven? How could there be such delicious food? Miss Sophia was interested in the fried mushroom. She carefully forked a small piece with her fork and took a bite. The fried mushroom had a crispy outer layer, but the mushroom inside was fresh and tender. The combination of the three flavors of egg, flour, and mushroom formed a rich and complex texture. She felt that she could use an article to describe this wonderful feeling. As for Xiangqi, he liked to eat noodles, so Xiangyi scooped a bowl of seafood and tomato pasta for him. Then, she added a circle of fried mushrooms and a circle of sliced beef patties, forming a unique big bowl of seafood pasta with rice. As he ate, he glanced provocatively at Shui. "Humph, my sister only scooped rice for me." Shui's expression didn't change. There was nothing wrong with his dining etiquette, and he was elegant and noble. When he was almost done eating, he wiped the corners of his mouth with a snow-white napkin and suddenly said, "Sister E, have you thought about what to make for Big Brother's in-flight meal?" Upon hearing the word Big Brother, Xiangqi instinctively sat up straight, even forgetting to chew the pasta at the corner of his mouth. Xiangyi nodded. "Yes, I'll make Big Brother's favorite dishes." She tilted her head and looked at Xiangqi. "Big Brother, do you want to accompany me? Let's go home and see Grandpa." Regardless of whether it was to accompany his sister or visit his grandfather, he was very happy with these two options. However, with the addition of the option of going with his elder brother, this question instantly became a question of death. "Sister, you're not a kid anymore. You're a big friend now." Xiangqi acted like a big brother and said in a dignified manner, "Can you be a little more mature? Do you need me to accompany you on the plane?" Oh, Shui smiled. "It's okay. I'll accompany you, Xiangqi." Motherf ***. However, he couldn't do anything to Shui. He was afraid of his big brother, but Shui wasn't afraid at all. "Degua?" Albert's Chinese wasn't very good, and he tried to join Xiangyi and the other two's group chat. He was very confused. "It's fine to bring a big bowl, but do you have to bring a big pot?" Xiangqi took advantage of his big brother's absence to reveal his dark history. "When my family went camping, my big brother brought a big pot. But," he paused and said in a sorrowful tone, "I had to carry it for him the whole time. Something came up today, and it was too late to go home. Smiley face, angle. Let me tell you in advance." Chapter 284. At the same time, Logic Esports Base. The training room was brightly lit, and the sound of the keyboard and mouse could be heard. Xiao Naofu was nestled in the pocket of Xiang Yu's uniform, watching him play games. After watching the game for a few days, Xiao Naofu had already grasped the rules and was more addicted to it than Xiang Yu himself. "Meow, meow, meow. Go, 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 beat him up. Beat him up for this hoo." In Xiang Yu's ears, Xiao Naofu's cries were simply the most beautiful sound in the world. The sniper in the game ended the battle with a clean shot and found a cover to hide behind. He freed his hand to cover Xiao Naofu's eyes and coaxed softly, "Be good, a cute kitten like Xiao Naofu can't watch these fights." Xiao Naofu. "No. Let this hoo-hoo watch. This hoo-hoo wants esports too." Creak. The door was pushed open. It was Captain Wander, who had just returned from drawing the lot. He sighed and said apologetically, "I'm sorry my luck isn't good. We'll be facing Team ICE in the next match." This year's Lonely Glory World Connections main venue was in Nanjing. Team Logic was one of the two Chinese teams in the top 36 and had high hopes for them in the domestic esports circle. However, Team ICE was a seeded team and had made it to the top 3 in the World League last year. Team Logic had to face such a strong team in the first round and suffered a crushing defeat. The atmosphere in the team was inevitably a little heavy. At this moment, awoo. Xiao Naofu pushed Xiang Yu's hand away and jumped onto the keyboard aggressively. Its soft, meaty paws smashed onto the attack button. With a bang, the sniper in the game fired and hit the enemy who was about to launch a sneak attack. Everyone in the team. Hu wanted to fight again, but he was picked up by Wander. The young man's eyes were filled with tears. This is a miracle. It must be a miracle. God is encouraging us. Everyone cheer up, let's go. For a moment, the little cubs seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Go. Only Xiao Naofu was struggling desperately. Let go of me. This Hu can still fight. On the other side. Research Institute, Director's Office. Why can a cripple like Xiang Li apply for so much funding? Could his hands be used for experiments? He's clearly a dog in the manger. A middle-aged man complained in dissatisfaction. The director tried to appease the middle-aged man, but the middle-aged man continued to push his luck. How about this? We'll keep Xiang Li's original team, and I'll join them to guide them. As for Xiang Li, we'll kick him out. He's no longer of any value to our research institute. The director slowly typed out a question mark. Even though Xiang Li was injured, he still managed to come up with a lot of new drugs and published a few core research papers. This was enough to prove Xiang Li's research ability. On the other hand, if you're capable or not, you only know how to bootlick. Where did you get the face to say that you want to kick Xiang Li out? The director pulled a long face. First of all, Professor Xiang Li's hand will recover soon. Secondly, Professor Xiang Li has discovered an extract from seaweed. His research has made great progress. No matter who they replace, they will never replace Professor Xiang Li. At the same time, in the middle of the bustling city, rows upon rows of buildings were brightly lit. In front of the floor-to-ceiling window, Sanction, wearing a black nightgown, coldly rejected his business partner on the phone. New case? Not interested. I have more important things to do. The corners of his thin lips seemed to curl slightly. My little bunny is coming to coax me. Chapter 285. After hanging up the phone, Sanction opened his WeChat. Little Bunny's account was pinned to the top. He tapped on the chat box with his slender fingers and saw that there were 0 unread messages. However, there was a new status update on his WeChat Moments. It was a selfie of Xiangyi and Xiang Qi, in which Shui's side profile was accidentally captured. The caption of the picture was, Xiang Yi is super handsome today too. Oh ***. Oh, the two of them shared a lot of friends, and there were already many comments below. Annoying number 4, I'm obviously the most handsome. Annoying number 3 replied to annoying number 4. Go away. Your third brother is the most handsome, got it? Annoying number 2. Tutu, can you send me a photo of Xiang Qi? Shui, what about me? Sangchun, huh. What a bunch of annoying people. It was late at night, but he wasn't sleepy at all. Instead, he tapped on Weibo to kill some time. His account was verified as lawyer of Linchin Law Offices, so he would usually receive a lot of mentions, all of which were for legal advice. Occasionally, Sanction would reply to a few of them. Today, as usual, he scrolled through the list and scrolled past a comment that read, May I ask if you've accepted a case for public welfare legal aid? QQ. He stopped scrolling. It wasn't because of the content, but because of the user's nickname. Guardian of the bestie in the world. The avatar used was a screenshot of Xiangyi in 2 under 1 roof, with her hair tied up in a bun. The little girl was smiling with her head tilted to the side. After adding some filters and various special effects, she looked even more gentle and adorable. Sangchun saved it with a straight face, then subconsciously opened the avatar's Weibo account. Obviously, Guardian was a fan of Xiangyi, and almost every post was related to Xiangyi. However, Sangchun couldn't understand her messy seniority logic. Xiangyi is so beautiful, Mama loves you. Sister E is so soft, I really want to rub her. She even has dimples, she's so sweet. Damn it, E is so awesome today. Ah Wei is dead. I want to be a fan for 1 second. However, that did not stop Sanction from saving photos and videos. After he was satisfied with saving dozens of photos, he noticed that Guardian had updated his Weibo. Guarding the best in the world, EE. If you don't vote, I won't vote. When will EE be able to make a name for herself? Don't forget to help Xiang Yi get on the rankings. Also, our fan club group number is XXXX. Welcome everyone to join. Sanction checked the links that she had sent him. They were all different kinds of rankings. Xiang Yi's popularity was at the bottom. Sanction furrowed his brows and sent a private message to the other party. Tutu Dage V. I can take the case. Big brother Tutu V. But I have 2 requests. The other party replied instantly. Ah, really? Please speak. The Guardian in front of the screen was extremely excited. Although this lawyer's ID was a little strange, he was still a lawyer from Lynch & Law Firm. She had asked for help from many lawyers, but all of them were ignored. To her surprise, the only one who replied was one of the top lawyers in the industry. A new message popped up in the chat and the Guardian checked it nervously, for fear that the other party would make a difficult request. That would be terrible. Tutu Dage V. Teach me how to get on the rankings. The Guardian : Buzz. Tutu Dage V. Also, add me to Little Bunnies. Yes, Xiang Yi's fan club. Thank you. The Guardian : She was in a trance. She didn't expect the other party to make such a request. Is this the legendary male fan? Or is he a male fan? Asterisk asterisk today is salted fish worm. Guilty. Don't be mean to me. I'll catch up on it during the day. Good night, QEQ. Chapter 286. Probably because she didn't reply, the other party sent another message. Tutu Big Brother V. What's the matter? Is there a problem? Guardian hurriedly replied. No. It's totally okay. Then, this brother fan very professionally asked her to send him the details of the case. In order to make it easier to contact him, he even gave her a WeChat signal. Guardian added him as a friend nervously and quickly accepted it. She checked this brother fan's WeChat moments and realized that he didn't set it to be open within 3 days. However, there were only a few posts in total. They were from 2 days ago, a year ago, and a year and a half ago. 2 days ago, I'm on annual leave. Please contact my assistant Gu Jingxi for work matters. A year ago, Little Bunny ran away from home. A year and a half ago, camping with my sister and cooking noodles in a big pot. It tastes pretty good. It seems that he also has a sister named Little Bunny. What a coincidence. It's actually the same as Xiang Yi's nickname. In order to show her sincerity, Guardian meticulously created a tutorial for voting on the rankings and sent it to him. She also added him to Xiang Yi's fan club. Chan, thank you. Guardian replied with an emoji and ran to watch the cut version of Two Under One Roof that only had clips of Xiang Yi. From time to time, she would let out a goose-like laughter. After more than half an hour, new messages suddenly popped up on WeChat. Damn, Sister E has a rich fan now. She's rushed to the top of the female celebrity popularity list. She's also the first on the most popular list. I'm impressed. What kind of big shot is this? Tutu Big Brother? This name sounds a bit familiar. Ha ha ha. Is he Xiang Yi's brother fan? Guardian froze for a moment and went to check the various major rankings, only to find that this brother fan was a typical person of few words and was good at gambling. He was also very generous with his money. She was extremely excited and posted in the group. Great, our Xiang Yi is also someone with a big fan club. There were sounds of agreement below. Suddenly, Tutu Big Brother. Someone bullied her? The group was silent for a few seconds. In an instant, everyone was worshipping the big boss with slipping hair and kneeling emojis. After a while, someone finally sent a voice message to Tutu's older brother to explain. That's right. That all is well year-round character in Shui Sister is always leading our sister E around. Even after being slapped in the face a few times, she still doesn't know how to restrain herself. Just now, she even posted on Weibo that Sister E was going to drive her to her death. I'm speechless. As she spoke, she even sent out a link. It was a Weibo post from All Is Well year-round. The gist of the post was that she couldn't bear the evil in this world, and that her only ray of light had been snatched away by others. She wanted to leave. Many fans comforted her in the comments section, and there were also people who passionately insulted Xiangyi, accusing her of driving a depressed patient to death. There were already more than 10,000 likes. Sangchen, who was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, combed his messy hair. He never liked listening to long speeches, but he patiently finished listening to the lecture. TSK. How dare they bully his little bunny? Tutu Big Brother. Got it. Tutu Big Brother. The internet is not a lawless place. I will send a lawyer's letter to all the Weibo users who insulted Xiangyi. The group members thought that he was joking, but they didn't expect that about 10 minutes later, Lin Chen Law Firm's official Weibo account actually posted a statement frowny face Lin Chen Law Firm v. The internet is not a lawless place. The attached picture was a lawyer's letter with at least a few hundred Weibo users' names on it. In an instant, the foul-mouthed Shui sisters panicked. Chapter 287. Weren't they just angry and scolded Xiangyi a little? Xiangyi was a public figure, so what was wrong with being criticized? She wanted to be a celebrity, so why did they have to send them a lawyer's letter? Moreover, the lawyer was from Lin Chen Law Firm, one of the top law firms in the country. Many people felt suffocated, and they guiltily deleted their comments and changed their IDs, fearing that they would be punished by the law. Thus, Xiangyi's fans were surprised to find that the Shui sisters, who had been shouting the loudest and scolding the most, had all disappeared. Finally, someone could deal with them. Meanwhile, Sangchen's fan club was flooded with comments. Big Brother, you're awesome. Sangchen didn't say anything else. Instead, he looked at the bustling night scene outside the window. The huge billboard shone brightly on the man's chiseled face, softening his sharp features slightly. Seeing the little rabbit up close, there were only 8 hours left. The next morning, Xiangqi got up sleepily. His dark green silk robe was wrinkled from his sleep, and a few buttons on his collar were unbuttoned, revealing a large area of his pale skin. His well-defined abs were faintly discernible. He walked to the window to breathe in the fresh air, and vaguely saw two familiar figures. Xiangqi squinted and realized that he couldn't see them clearly because they were too far away. He hurriedly turned on the camera on his cell phone and zoomed in a few times. Damn! It was his younger sister feeding the deer outside the castle, and Shui was standing next to her lazily. Eat slowly, don't rush. Xiangyi's voice was gentle as she patiently fed the deer from yesterday. Behind the deer, there was a large group of parents and siblings who had come to freeload. Every deer was given a few pieces of deer biscuits, and they were happily munching on them. Xiangyi had already told the chef in the castle how to make the deer biscuits, and Viscount Albert generously expressed that he would be happy to feed these cute forest elves. I'm leaving today. You have to pay attention to your safety in the future. Don't get caught by poachers. As Xiangyi spoke, she suddenly turned her small face. Do they understand Chinese? Shui quietly accompanied her by her side. Hearing her words, she couldn't help laughing. Can you translate it for me? The little girl thought it made sense and translated it to Xiaolu. Xiaolu tilted its head. Its ears were furry, and its eyes were round. It had the clearest gaze in the world. It seemed to understand and rubbed its nose against Xiangyi's palm. Xiangyi's heart softened. She took out the last piece of deer cake from her pocket and fed it. The deer behind her instantly lined up to rub against her, begging to be touched. They didn't forget to touch the pocket on Xiangyi's clothes, trying to get her to take out another piece of deer cake. It could be said to be a real foodie deer. Xiangyi couldn't help but lick her lips. I heard that venison is very nourishing, Shui added. Hunting is illegal in China, but sick deer can be artificially reared. Xiangyi's eyes lit up. Then, shall we rear 2 of them? Shui chuckled. Will do, as you say. The deer were speechless. In Xiangqi's eyes, the morning sun, the cute deer, the gentleness of a young girl, and the company of a man. All of this was obviously very heartwarming, but it was more impactful than any war or sci-fi scenes. Although he wanted to rush over and kick Shui away from his younger sister. But why did this damn inspiration come again? It was actually the inspiration for matching outfits. Chapter 288. He scratched his head, struggling between kicking the dogman and recording his inspiration. In the end, Xiangqi gave in to recording his inspiration. Ever since his debut, he had only designed women's clothing. Men's clothing was his weakness. Now that he had a chance to make a breakthrough, he had to seize it. As for the dogman, wouldn't it be better to wait for Big Brother to kick him in person? Shui, your death is coming soon. Ha 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 ha. At this thought, Xiangqi picked up a pen and paper. His inspiration rushed to the paper like magic. One set of couples' outfits after another were born from his slender fingers. After stroking all the deer with satisfaction, Xiangyi waved goodbye to them. The deer blinked and suddenly grabbed Xiangyi's clothes with its mouth. It stared at her with tears in its eyes. How could it not be sad that a fangirl was leaving? Xiangyi was a little sad because of it. She bit her lip and whispered, "I'll come back to see you next time, okay? Woo. I'll definitely come back. Woo woo. Next time, I'll make you something better than deer biscuits." The deer stared at her for a few seconds, then slowly let go of her. Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She suspected that the deer had become a spirit and had sufficient evidence. After watching the deer and the herd of deer enter the forest, Xiangyi and Shui walked back to the castle. Ouch! Xiangyi was so focused on looking back at the deer that she slipped and twisted her ankle. Shui caught her in time and asked with a frown, "Are you okay? Should I carry you back?" Imagining that scene, Xiangyi felt a little embarrassed. She said calmly, "I'm fine, I can still walk." The next second, a black Rolls-Royce stopped beside her. The door opened automatically, revealing the cold and indifferent gaze of the man in the car. Xiangyi. Big Brother is here. Her cherry lips opened slightly. She wanted to greet him, but she didn't dare to call him Big Brother. Sanction calmly got out of the car. He was 188 centimeters tall, with broad shoulders and long legs. Dressed in a black suit, his facial features were deep and handsome. His entire body was covered with a layer of earth-shattering coldness, as if it could crush the sunlight behind him. He lowered his eyes and glanced at Xiangyi. "Broken leg?" Xiangyi shook her head in fear. No. Then do you need to hide in another man's arms?" Xiangyi came to her senses and tried to pry Shui's hand away. Unexpectedly, Shui tightened his grip and hugged her shoulder even tighter. His peach blossom eyes curved slightly, and the corners of his mouth curled into a lazy smile. "Big Brother, long time no see." Sanction looked at him in the eye. It was a silent confrontation between two men. A moment later, Sanction sneered, "Get your dirty hands off me." Xiangyi subconsciously defended Shui. He didn't touch the deer. "His hands are not dirty." Whoosh! Big Brother's cold gaze swept over. The young girl shrank her neck and said pitifully, "Brother, my ankle hurts." Actually, it wasn't that painful. However, in front of Big Brother, this little bit of pain seemed to be a great grievance. Because she had been doted on before, she dared to be fearless and willful. "Now you know pain?" For some reason, although Sanction's tone was still cold, it wasn't as fierce as before. He raised his long black eyebrows. "So?" Xiangyi mustered up her courage. "So, brother, can you carry me back?" Sanction looked at her and didn't say anything. "Boo-hoo, I can't, I'm going to cry." The young girl was terrified and changed her words. "Are you tired from the car ride? I can carry you. It's not impossible." Chapter 289. Afraid that her brother would not believe her sincerity, Xiangyi clenched her fists and tried to flex her muscles. "Brother, I'm very strong. If you don't like to carry me, I can carry you." Sanction shifted his gaze onto her fair arms and couldn't help but frown. In the past year, that person had been using a very unhealthy method to lose weight, going on a diet. Xiangyi had lost a lot of weight, and her arms were sickly slender. They looked so fragile that they could be broken easily. Forget it. What's the point of getting angry with her? Sangchen said with a sullen expression. Come here. Xiangyi did not move. It was not that she didn't want to go, but rather she was too scared. She felt safer staying by Shi Sui's side. Watching as she shrank toward Shi Sui, Sangchen's temples began to throb. This little bunny needs to be taught a lesson. Is she really going to fall in love at such a young age? Does she have any respect for the family rules? However, Shi Sui had guessed Xiangyi's true thoughts. He looked down and said in a lazy and innocent voice, Brother, it's the same if I help her. With that, he helped Xiangyi walk in the direction of the castle. Sangchen shifted his gaze from his sister to Shi Sui's legs. He seemed to be contemplating if he should break Shi Sui's legs. He strode forward with his long legs and picked Xiangyi up in his arms. Huh. While she stared at him in shock, Sangchen said with a straight face, Your legs are short and you're walking too slowly. You're wasting time. Is that so? However, Xiangyi realized that her brother was carrying her. Does that mean that he's actually not that angry with me? She carefully tugged at the fabric of his suit jacket, feeling both nervous and happy. To her surprise, Sangchen said, Tisk, you're quite heavy. Xiangyi was speechless. Much heavier than rice. Xiangyi. Then I'll walk by myself. Actually, I can walk. Xiangyi was a little humble. Of course, it was mainly because she was afraid Chun of the Xiang family, a man who dominated the fear of the entire Xiang family. Sangchen said coldly, Shut up, Xiangyi. Oh. Wu did not dare to speak anymore. Shi Sui, who was standing behind her, smiled happily. Another man who can't stand being goaded. He was clearly worried about his sister's death, yet he still pretended to be unconcerned. Clearly sullen on the inside. Castle living room. Sangchen placed Xiangyi on the sofa. He had been to the castle a few times and was very familiar with the layout. He got up and went to the kitchen to get some ice. Xiangqi took a stack of design drafts downstairs and showed them off to his sister. Sister, look at my newly designed couple outfit. Xiangyi took a look and was stunned. Over the past year, there were people in the fashion industry who couldn't stand how Xiangqi's designs were always able to set off new trends. Chapter 290. Sangchen, Heh. He half knelt beside Xiangyi's feet, lifted her trousers, and put the ice pack on it. Xiangyi's eyes widened, not because of her brother's sneer, but because of his actions. Was he taking care of her? She uneasily wanted to retract her feet, but Sangchen gave her a warning look. Don't move, behave. The little bunny didn't dare to move and sat on the sofa obediently. Xiangqi was still trying to explain his creativity. Brother, look at this outfit, it's brother and sister, and this outfit, it's sister and brother. Sangchen's face was cold. Go on. See if I'll give you a look. Don't think I don't know. Sister is your muse, your source of inspiration. That's right, all of Xiangqi's designs were more or less related to Xiangyi. The perfect combination of his siscon and his pursuit of the ultimate art miraculously created sparks of inspiration. Sangchen, Heh. Xiangqi was about to cry, and instinctively hid behind Shi Sui. Brother Shi, save me, he whispered. Shi Sui said good-naturedly, Sure, Brother Shi, you're really too. Before he could finish, Shi Sui said with a smile, It's a paid service, 1 fee per visit. If you want to buy, be quick. It's up to you. F*CKU. You're so sure I have to beg you, right? Do you think I'm such a spineless person? Yes, I am. Xiangqi said fawningly. Okay, I'll listen to you, Brother Shi. Then he heard Shi Sui say leisurely, The company sister he signed with is a bit of a scam. Why don't you sign with Xiang Feng's company? Whether you want to leave the industry or continue your career, you'll have more freedom. The word Xiangfeng naturally attracted hatred, and Shi Sui knew this very well. As expected, Sangchen frowned. What's he doing? It's been so long, and he still hasn't prepared the contract? Shi Sui chimed in, That's right. Sangchen, I'll call him right now. He threw the ice pack to Shui and went to call Xiang Feng with a sullen face. Far away, in Nancheng, Xiang Feng was still sleeping due to the jet lag. In a daze, he received a call from nephew Gu and was reprimanded. Xiang Feng. It was very fascinating. In the living room, Xiang Qi was shocked to see that Sangchen's attention had been diverted by the simple act of using his uncle as bait. What kind of operation was this? Teach me. Shui bent down and carefully applied ice to Xiangyi's ankle. The girl's pink toes curled up, feeling extremely uncomfortable. She didn't think it was a big deal for her brother to give her an ice pack. However, it was Shui. It seemed to be completely different. Does it still hurt? Shui asked in a gentle voice and looked up. At that moment, Xiangyi actually didn't dare to make eye contact with him. The ambiguous atmosphere made her heart thump loudly, as if it had been hooked by a silk thread. Xiangyi cleared her throat and said, "I'm done." Shui asked, "Are you sure?" Xiangyi answered, "Yes." Shui finally put away the ice pack. Seeing how uneasy she was, he smirked and asked, "Are you that scared of Sangchen? Is he going to eat you up?" He originally meant to comfort Xiangyi, but to his surprise, the Xiang siblings widened their eyes in horror. Xiang Qi murmured timidly, "Xiang Feng doesn't eat people up, does he?" Xiangyi swallowed her saliva and said, "I don't think so. Oh my God, it's so scary." The two of them huddled together pitifully and shivered uncontrollably. Shui was speechless. The demon of the Xiang family indeed lives up to his reputation. Chapter 291. Sangchen came back after the call and glanced at Xiangyi. "We can sign the contract when we get back." Xiangyi. What kind of efficiency was this? Then, Sangchen turned to look at Xiang Qi. Xiang Qi was curled up on the sofa like a boneless person. He straightened his back and rested his hands on his knees like a standard elementary school student. They looked at each other. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, Xiang Qi broke down. I was wrong. Sangchen said unhurriedly, "Tell me, what did you do wrong?" "I was wrong in every way," Xiang Qi said weakly. "It's a couple outfit, but it's just a design. It doesn't mean that I support my sister's relationship." Sangchen said, "Go on." Xiang Qi confessed everything. "I shouldn't have eaten my sister's dear biscuits. But I already had diarrhea yesterday." Xiangyi looked a little speechless. "I said that you can't eat it." The next second, Xiangyi's devilish voice sounded. "It's your turn, Xiangyi." The girl's first reaction was to move closer to Shui. A smile appeared in Shui's eyes as he placed his arm on the sofa behind her, making it seem as if he was holding the slender girl in his arms. "The deer is so cute, I shouldn't have thought about eating it," the elementary school student answered in a trembling voice. She didn't look at all like a big shot who had just returned from transmigration. "What else?" Sangchen narrowed his eyes and stared at her meaningfully. Xiangyi looked confused. Apart from that, she didn't do anything bad. Sangchen sneered and deliberately tricked her. "Don't think I don't know that you're in a relationship." His tone was so fierce and cold that Xiangyi panicked. I'm in a relationship?" Shui was speechless. Chun of the Xiang family is really high up the social ladder. Seeing his sister's reaction, Sangchen was slightly relieved. "That's good." Xiangyi felt as if she had been granted amnesty. "Then I'll go prepare the in-flight meal." She slipped into the kitchen, feeling as if she had dodged a bullet. Xiang Qi couldn't be bothered to eat his sister's cooking anymore. He tidied up his big bowl and said, "Brother, I'm going to make a dress for my sister. Bye-bye." He wasn't a coward. He was following his heart and listening to the truest summons from the depths of his heart. Only Sangchen and Shui were left in the living room. Sangchen picked an armchair and sat down. His long legs were crossed, and his arms were crossed. His aura was incomparably strong. "I advise you, it's best that you don't have any thoughts about my little bunny." Shui. "Okay, big brother Sangchen. Speak properly." Shui blinked. What if Tutu has ulterior motives toward me? Should I reluctantly accept it or act in self-defense? TSK, how worrying. Sangchen. He took a deep breath. There was only one thought in his mind. This dog of a man is really asking for a beating. Xiangyi had prepared a sumptuous meal. She either put it in a thermos or refrigerated it. She was going to put it all on Tutu's plane later. She was going to take a plane with Xiang, which meant that they were going on a trip together. Albert followed the smell and shamelessly expressed that he wanted to try it. Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents. I saved one for you. Albert was touched. Alice, you're an angel. The next second, Sangchen's cold voice rang out. You didn't make it for me? Pack it all up. Albert said angrily, Are you the devil? Sangchen nodded proudly. Thank you, you flatter me. Albert was speechless. Chapter 292. Under her brother's gaze, Xiangyi braced herself and packed up all the food. Tutu landed in the manor, and Sangchen grabbed his sister's collar to board the plane. Albert waved goodbye to them with tears in his eyes, though it was unclear if he was upset because of the separation or because he couldn't eat Xiangyi's cooking. The plane hovered in the sky for thousands of miles. The deer in the forest seemed to have sensed something as they raised their heads and began barking, seemingly bidding farewell to Xiangyi. On Tutu. In addition to the resting area, there was also a tea area with a sofa and a coffee table. Sangchen was the first to take a seat. Shui sat opposite him. The two men then looked at Xiangyi in unison. The two rows of sofas were facing each other. In other words, Xiangyi could only choose to sit next to one of them. Xiangyi was speechless. If I sit next to Big Brother, I won't be able to escape when I get beaten up. It seems safer to sit next to Shui. With that thought in mind, she slowly moved forward and sat down next to Shui. In an instant, one was elated. The other had an icy cold gaze. Sangchen picked up the porcelain teacup with a straight face and took a sip of green tea. He wasn't angry. He wasn't angry at all. Shui, on the other hand, was calm and composed. She even began chatting with Xiangyi about the topic of two under one roof. Xiangyi gradually relaxed. Sangchen waited for more than 10 minutes, but Xiangyi did not take the initiative to speak to him at all. He almost crushed the porcelain teacup in his hand. Ahem. He cleared his throat. His words had the effect of silencing her. Xiangyi kept quiet out of fear, not daring to speak. Shui glanced at him with a smirk and remained silent. Sangchen frowned and thought, Am I that scary? His white, well-defined fingers loosened his black tie. He unbuttoned the top 2 buttons of his shirt and leaned on the sofa in an extremely relaxed posture. However, when he opened his mouth, he sounded like a teacher lecturing a student. What do you plan to do next? Xiangyi froze for a few seconds before she realized that the question was directed at her. She whispered, No, I don't have any plans. I'm just going to record a variety show, cook some food, and retire early. Sangchen asked casually, Are you feeling too tired? Xiangyi shook her head. Cooking isn't tiring. How could she feel tired doing something she liked? Sangchen continued asking, Did anyone bully you? He glanced at Shui meaningfully. Little Rabbit was extremely obedient and her voice was soft. No, everyone is very good. I feel that filming this variety show is quite fun. Sangchen replied with an and said indifferently, If someone makes you unhappy, do you know what to do? I know how to answer this question. Xiangyi was a little excited. Tell the family. Childish, Sangchen said coldly. It's to make the other party even more unhappy, got it? Xiangyi. You don't even know how to do this? Do you still need me to teach you? Xiangyi swallowed her saliva. I think I know how to. Sangchen finally revealed a satisfied expression. The journey was long and Xiangyi soon felt sleepy. She leaned against the back of the sofa and fell asleep. Shui moved her little head to her shoulder as if there was no one else around. Sangchen, do you think I'm dead? Before he could say anything, Shui spoke first. I didn't expect you to be angry. I didn't do it on purpose. Sangchen gritted his teeth. You, Shui interrupted him innocently. Don't be angry, brother. I'll apologize to you, okay? Sangchen, even green tea can't compare to you. Chapter 293. Other than his Uncle Xiang Feng, no one had made Sanction so angry for many years. His voice was as cold as ice. You dare to take advantage of my sister in front of me? Brother, why would you think that? Shui smiled. I was just worried that Sister Yi wouldn't be able to sleep well, so I helped her. I didn't even ask Sister Yi to thank me. Sanction inhaled and exhaled. Bear with it for a while. Bear with it, my ass. Seeing that the tutu was about to act violently, Shui successfully stopped Sanction with one sentence. Brother, can you be gentler when you hit me? I don't want to disturb Sister Yi's rest. F*CKU. Glancing at the sleeping bunny, Sanction closed his eyes and suppressed the urge to throw this man out of the plane. Perhaps it was because of her brother. Although Xiangyi seemed to be afraid of him on the surface, she subconsciously felt very safe. She slept for more than 2 hours. She opened her eyes in a daze and found herself leaning on Shui's shoulder. She quickly propped herself up and apologized softly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Why didn't you push me away? Sanction was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. It was obviously this dog of a man who pressed you on his shoulder. He was just short of tying a rope to his body. Shui was calm and collected like a sly old fox. My shoulder is a little sore, Xiangyi suggested gently. Then let me massage it for you. Will it be too much trouble for you? No, it's my fault. Shui blinked her eyelashes. Thank you, Sister Yi. Sanction saw this scene. If this wasn't the behavior of a green tea, then what was? He pinched his eyebrows and vaguely understood what Shui meant when she said that the bunny was plotting against him. It was this dog of a man who had dug a hole and tricked Little Rabbit into jumping in. However, what puzzled him was that the little rabbit had always been wary of outsiders. Why was she completely defenseless against this dog of a man? Although he was angry, he still had to eat. When the food was taken out of the thermos, it was still steaming. There were 6 dishes and 1 soup, all sumptuous and nutritious. Most of them were Sanction's favorite dishes. Braised lion's head in soy sauce was made of 70% lean meat and 30% fatty meat. It was hand-chopped into minced meat and mixed with water chestnuts and shiitake mushrooms to make meatballs. The meatballs were first fried and then boiled. The meatballs were filled with mellow and fragrant sauce. The steamed carrot dish was made by shredding carrots, adding vegetable oil, flour, salt, and so on. After steaming, adding garlic juice and chili oil according to the taste. The shredded carrots were loose and soft. There was also mapo tofu, braised chicken, shrimp scrambled eggs, winter melon pork rib soup, and so on. Due to the limited ingredients overseas, Xiangyi made all the more common home-cooked dishes. However, Sanction had not eaten for a long time the taste of home. After tasting the first dish, his tightly knitted eyebrows relaxed. He even found Shui, this dog of a man, much more pleasing to the eye. Xiangyi nervously picked up a lion's head for Sanction. Brother, you eat more. She was so nervous that her palms were sweaty. She was even prepared that her brother would throw the food she picked up into the trash can. However, she did not expect Sanction calmly ate the lion's head she picked for him. Xiangyi felt relieved and asked tentatively, How's the taste? It's so. Sanction indifferently commented. The next second, he blocked Shui's chopsticks with his chopsticks and raised his eyebrows. Try picking up another one. Chapter 294. Xiangyi's brothers were all single. Whether or not they would protect their wives was an unsolved mystery, but protecting their food was one of their ancestral skills. It was comparable to climbing trees and being arrogant. When the eldest brother wasn't around, they would snatch his food. When the eldest brother was around, they would share his food. Of course, it wasn't an equal distribution. Instead, it was based on status and strength. Chun of the Xiang family would always be number 1. No one dared to take away a single grain of rice from him. After the distribution was completed, it was as if a wild beast had successfully divided its territory. Everyone was extremely protective of their food. Shui retreated in order to advance. She retracted her chopsticks and forced a smile at Xiangyi. It's okay, I can eat the vegetables. She then picked up a piece of vegetable and placed it in her bowl. In comparison, Sanction was like a landlord who bullied the weak. Xiangyi wavered again. She moved closer to Shui and whispered in her ear, Don't be afraid. I'll leave some food for you. You can secretly eat it later. Don't get caught. Shui's eyes were filled with a scheming smile. Sister E, you're so nice, Sanction, who had good hearing, twitched his eyebrows. More than 10 hours later, the plane arrived at the Xiang family's manor. Due to the time difference, it was still daytime in Nanchang. Sanction didn't sleep much on the plane. Now that he had gotten off the plane, he went back to his room to catch up on sleep. Xiangyi slept for a long time. She was preparing to go to a little rabbit farm and bring back 2 geese to stew. Shui naturally accompanied her. The two of them strolled among the lush flowers and plants. For some reason, they felt like an old couple. Suddenly, Shui received a call from her agent, Si Chuanbai. He frowned. Xiangyi sensed that something was wrong and stopped in her tracks. The call didn't last long. After hanging up, Shui said apologetically, I'm sorry, I have to deal with something. I'm afraid I can't accompany you. Xiangyi said, It's okay, I can go by myself. Before she finished speaking, there was a dispute at the entrance of the manor. Out of the way. I want to see Shui. I saw the plane land. I want to see her. Now, don't touch me, or I'll call the police and say that you're F***ing me. The hysterical female voice, mixed with the persuasion of several security guards, was very noisy. Shui's face was as gloomy as still water, and there was a deep gloom at the bottom of his eyes. Xiangyi was slightly startled. In fact, she had never seen Shui lose her temper before, but she instinctively sensed it. He was angry. The man's thin lips pursed into a sharp line and strode towards the manor's gate. Xiangyi was worried that he would do something irrational, so she quickly caught up with him. At the entrance of the manor. All is well year-round. Her real name was Chao Ruan. When she saw Shui's tall and slender figure from afar, her skinny face lit up. It was him. It's really him. He's coming to me. Shui's legs were long, and his strides were big. Soon, he was in front of her and nodded politely. Miss Chao, right? I heard that you've been looking for me. The man's voice was much deeper than usual when he was angry. There was a hint of hoarseness in his voice, which made him more attractive. Chao Ruo looked infatuated and couldn't wait to express her feelings. Yes, I've been looking for you for a long time. I'm your fan. I like you a lot. Shui said politely, Thank you for your love, but this is a private residence. Can I arrange for a car to send you away? Chao Ruo said self-righteously, I'm not leaving. It wasn't easy for me to see you. Why should I leave? She was caught off guard and grabbed Shui's hand. Chapter 295. At the critical moment, Shui took a step back and avoided her touch. Chao Ruo missed him and stumbled, almost falling down. She looked up at Shui in disbelief. Why? Why did he avoid her? Was she a piece of trash that he wanted to avoid? I like you. I really like you. Chao Ruo tried her best to express her feelings. I've liked you since you debuted. I've watched all of your movies and TV shows. I vote for you every day. I even gave up on studying for you. I've spent all my time on you. Chao Ruo said. However, Shui did not show the slightest hint of being touched. Chao Ruo suddenly had a thought. He looked gentle, but in fact, he was more distant than anyone else. It's not a rational choice to give up on yourself for anyone, Shui said in a clear and calm voice. You have your own life, and I shouldn't be the only one in your life. Miss Chao, I won't hold it against you for secretly taking photos and following my car. I hope you can return to your normal life. I'll give you my blessings. Chao Ruo muttered. Do you mean you don't need my love? She widened her eyes in horror, completely unwilling to accept this reality. Coincidentally, she noticed Xiangyi. In fact, Xiangyi kept a distance from them. However, in the eyes of the extreme Xiao Ruo, Xiangyi was deliberately provoking her. When she saw Xiangyi, her emotions became even more unstable. Is it because of her? What's so good about her? Why do you care about her? Why do you care about her? You shouldn't even look at her. She was extremely agitated. I'm the one who likes you the most. I'm the one who has done the most for you. Look at me, okay? Look at me, okay? Even if you like her, you should like me. Xiao Ruoan's logic was extreme. I like you, and I've done a lot for you. Therefore, you should like me back. Otherwise, you'll be letting me down. Si Chuanbai's car arrived. He got out of the car and opened the back door. Shi Sui's attitude was firm. Miss Qiao, please. This was undoubtedly a bolt from the blue for Qiao Run. You want to chase me away? Because of that bitch Xiangyi. Shi Sui, who had always been polite, suddenly said in a cold voice, Miss Qiao, please watch your words. At this moment, the emotionless man's emotions were stirred. Qiao Ruo refused to believe it. You scolded me because of her. Without my support, you are nothing. Now that you're famous, you want to dump me, and like that be *tch. Shi Sui, you're heartless. You heartless man. Si Chuanbai. He described himself as a wife who had gone through hardships, and Miss Xiangyi as a new lover. His ability to change concepts was truly superb. Miss Qiao, this isn't the first time you've harassed Shi Sui. You've eaten at the same restaurant as him, bought the seat next to him on the plane, and even knocked on his hotel door. You're an adult and should be responsible for your own actions. If you continue to act like this, I can only take measures to call the police. Then report it. Let's see if the police will arrest you or me when they come. I think you're trying to drive me to my death. Qiao Ruo suddenly took out a holder from her bag. There was a phone attached to it, and she clicked on the live broadcast. The words "Countdown to Suicide" were displayed at the top of the screen. Chapter 296. A few minutes ago, when she saw Tuda landing, Qiao Ruo posted a notice on Weibo. All is well year-round. If all hope comes from you, then the pain I'm feeling now is also thanks to you. Perhaps leaving is the best relief. I'm tired, really. There was a link to the live stream attached. When the fans saw the words, "Countdown to the live stream," they were all frightened. Oh my God, sister, don't take things too hard. Is there anyone who can contact her in the real world? I'm dying of anxiety. I don't know if it'll work, but based on her previous location, she should be from Nanchang, Pinggan, Nanchang. Someone raised a question. Live stream suicide? Why does it feel like a publicity stunt or coercion? In just a few minutes, there were hundreds of comments on that post. B**tch get lost. Who would risk their own life for publicity? F**cku. Don't you have any sympathy? She's about to die, yet you're still being a troll. I hate this kind of thing the most. She's crying in front of the screen. When I see your post, I just want to curse. It was no exaggeration to say that this Weibo post had caused a great commotion in the industry. Hence, when the live stream was opened, tens of thousands of people immediately flooded in. When they saw the skinny and haggard Xiao Anhao with reddened eyes, many people couldn't bear to see her like this. I can't imagine what you've been through. Sister, let me hug you. I'll treat you to milk tea, okay? Sigh, I've also been a fan of celebrities for many years, so I understand the pain of being out of reach. However, in the next second, Qiao Ruo switched the camera to Shi Sui's face and questioned, Tell me, do you like that B**tch Xiangyi? Even at such a close distance, the man's looks were still impeccable. His long eyelashes were lowered, and his thin lips were curved downwards. His entire body seemed to be covered in a layer of frost, and it was bone-chilling. Miss Qiao, he said calmly, we are all independent individuals. We can choose to like the opposite sex, the same sex, or none of them. This is the freedom that we are born with. But liking someone should never be an action that harms others. The fans in the livestream room. F***ck? Shuringdi. Oh my God, that's so cool, it's so awesome. No. Am I the only one who's confused? All is well year-round. Why is she with Shuringdi? Let me say something quietly. This seems to be the manner where Two Under One Roof was filmed. All is well year-round. It's a bit like an obsessive fan. Xiao Ruan said, I can't win against you. I just want you to like me. Is it that difficult? I've done so much for you, but you don't care about it at all. Is the support of your fans nothing to you? Si Chuanbai's expression changed slightly. This piece of music was a little impressive. If he didn't deal with it properly, his fans might leave him. As Xiao Ruan's manager, he naturally put his artist's interests first. So, he stepped forward to stop Xiao Ruan. Miss Xiao, not only are you trespassing on private property, but you're also secretly taking photos. Xiao Ruan took out a fruit knife and pretended to cut her wrist. Don't come over. Si Chuanbai immediately dared not move. The fans in the live stream were dumbfounded. F***ck, she must be an obsessive fan. Chapter 297. Look at how skilled she is. She must have done this a lot. I'm so confused. What kind of illegitimate behavior is this? Based on the time, Shui should have just returned to the country not long ago. He sat there for more than 10 hours without much rest, and even had the camera pointed at his face. It's terrifying. The public opinion changed all of a sudden. Xiao Ruan glanced at the bullet screen in the live stream, but the comments made her very puzzled. Why aren't they supporting me anymore? Why did my live stream fail? However, she didn't have time to care about that now. She just wanted to threaten Shui and make him compromise with her. However, to her surprise, Shui gave a direct response to her question. I'm very grateful for the support of my fans. It's very fortunate for an actor to be liked and supported by others. Without fans, Shui wouldn't have become the actor that I am today. But everyone wants to have an independent space where they won't be disturbed. I want my fans to focus on my work, not me, nor my private life. This response was courteous and sincere, and it left a very good impression on him. Boo-hoo, Shui said it so well. He's an actor. An actor. He's not a target of harassment from all, is well year-round. QQ, it's not easy for Shui. He's relied on his own abilities to make a name for himself. I didn't expect him to be treated like this by his obsessive fans. Si Chuanbai was a little emotional. He knew very well that Shui's words were not just polite words, but rather, he really meant what he said. Fans were comparable to top-notch traffic. As long as he wanted to make use of his fans, he could earn a lot of money at any time. For example, he could take on some commercials for unlicensed brands without moral integrity. As long as he was thick-skinned enough, it would be easy for him to earn money. However, Shui didn't. He didn't take on commercial activities easily and was extremely serious about acting. Even if it was a cameo appearance for free, he would never slack off and only act in a few scenes perfunctorily. Si Chuanbai felt from the bottom of his heart that Shui was really worthy of his fans' love and achievements. However, Xiao Ruan panicked. Without public opinion, what else could she use to threaten Shui? She made up her mind and said, I just want you to accompany me for 3 days. After 3 days, I won't disturb you again for the rest of my life. If you don't agree, I will. So what? Shui interrupted her. You don't even cherish your own life. Have you ever considered the feelings of those who care about you? However, Xiao Ruan did not listen to him at all. Her eyes were red. You can't even agree to this small request of mine. Some fans in the live stream couldn't help but comment. Actually, Shurindi can agree first and coax her. Shui is a little too cold-blooded. How can she be reasonable at a time like this? Human lives were at stake. Does he even understand? Yeah, it's not a big deal to tell a white lie. I feel like this all is well year-round girl's mental state is quite unstable. It's better to lie to her first, and then hand her over to the doctor for treatment. The group of people gestured in the air, as if they were the wisest and wisest ones. Suddenly, Xiao Ruan slid her hand to her wrist. Just as the blade pierced her skin, her wrist was grabbed by a pair of strong hands. Xiao and struggled with all her might. In her panic, she ended up stabbing Shui's forearm. Ah! She screamed as if she had gone crazy and threw her phone away. Shui remained calm and even indifferently took the fruit knife from her hand. His cold and fair skin was covered in blood. His voice was cold and very soft. "I'm sorry, but I can't lie to you. Because I have someone I like. I want to be a good person for her sake." Chapter 298. His hoarse voice was low and deep, but it made Qiao Ruoan's heart skip a beat. For a second, she even thought that Shui would stab her in the heart with that knife. But it was only for a second. The man spun the knife, casually, even more casually than he spun a pen. Then, he threw it far away. Clang! The fruit knife fell to the ground. The phone fell to the ground, and the camera was facing the ground. The netizens in the live stream saw nothing but darkness. The more confused they were about the situation, the faster the comments flooded in. "Ah, did Shui get stabbed? I only have one thing to say to the sayseeing fans. Die. Shui's eye, please be safe. Cry. Cry. This woman is crazy. What's the point of threatening others with her own life?" Shui's voice was too soft, so no one except Qiao Ruoan heard it. Si Chuanbai quickly joined forces with the other security guards to hold Qiao Ruoan down. The sound of police sirens could be heard from afar. Qiao Ruoan broke down completely. "You like her? How can you like her? How is she better than me? She's just a cheap MMM. Si Chuanbai calmly stuffed her mouth with a rag he picked up. Qiao Ruoan was so angry that she rolled her eyes, but she couldn't say a word. Soon, Qiao Ruoan was taken away by the police, and her phone was also taken into the police car as evidence. The live stream was closed. In the last shaky scene, a slender figure was seen running towards Shui. The netizens who stayed behind were still discussing enthusiastically. "I'm curious how long she'll be locked up for this kind of behavior. At most, she'll be criticized and educated. What I'm more worried about now is whether someone will imitate her." "Ah, is that Xiang Yi who flashed by at the end? Sister Yi, hurry up and take a look at Shui's arm. Am I the only one who thinks that the vase fairy is at fault this time? If she hadn't seduced Shui, she wouldn't have angered all is well year-round, and this wouldn't have happened." As soon as this comment was posted, it was rebutted by the netizens. "Yes, you're the only one who thinks so. Dear, I suggest you go to the hospital to see a neurologist. Yes, 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 whatever you say is right. Come, 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 let's all wish it a safe journey. Candle, candle, the manor." Xiangyi ran so fast that she was panting slightly when she stopped. She didn't have time to rest, but took off her thin sunscreen jacket to stop the bleeding on Shui's hand. Then, she held Shui's other hand. "Let's go back and treat our wounds." Shui let her hold her hand and followed behind her obediently. The coldness and ruthlessness she had shown when she faced Qiao Ruoan just now disappeared and was replaced by a gentle and lazy tone. "Are you worried about me?" Xiangyi blamed herself. "I should have stayed with you. That way, I could have protected you. Shui is really too delicate." Behind him, Si Chuanbai was speechless. He seemed to be at a loss for words. Not to mention, Shui had received an elite education when she was a teenager and was highly skilled in martial arts. Later on, when she filmed a martial arts movie, she also learned kickboxing from a world-class coach. Logically speaking, she should have been able to dodge that blow just now. Si Chuanbai seriously suspected that his artiste was trying to scam him. He overheard the conversation between the two of them. "Sister E, it hurts a little," the man said in a feeble tone. The girl coaxed him softly. "Shall we have stewed goose in a pot later?" The man chuckled and said, "Sure." Chapter 299. In the living room, Xiangyi took out the first aid kit and cleaned Shui's wound before carefully disinfecting it. Fortunately, the wound wasn't deep and it was just a flesh wound. It was just that he was bleeding profusely. Xiangyi looked up at him and asked, Do you want to take some painkillers first? I think I can endure it for a while longer. It's okay, you don't have to endure it. Si Chuanbai was speechless. Why did I come in? I'm just applying some medicine. What kind of nonsense is that? Xiangyi said softly. Actually, I'm a little hard of hearing. If you want to cry, I won't be able to hear anything. Shi Sui blinked and stared at her for a few seconds before looking at Si Chuanbai. It was as if he was asking, "Why are you still here?" Si Chuanbai was dressed in an elite black suit. He sat upright and still, but deep down he was thinking. He was definitely not going to let her cook him a stewed goose today. Cough, I'm not that hard of hearing either. I've never scored full marks for an English test. The famous manager was forced to admit that he was hard of hearing. Xiangyi took out some painkillers and was about to pass them to Shi Sui when he opened his mouth calmly and said, "Ah," like a child asking for candy. The young girl instinctively stuffed the pills into his mouth. Her fingertips brushed against his thin lips. It was cool and moist to the touch. She curled her fingers uncomfortably and lowered her head to continue bandaging his wound. After a while, Shi Sui said, "Sister E, it still hurts a lot." Xiangyi was worried. This painkiller won't take effect that quickly. Why don't I think of another way? The man's dark eyes gradually darkened. Like a cat, his gaze shifted to her lips, as if he was sleeping. Si Chuanbai was speechless. Why was his artiste more delicate than his little wife? Back then, she could still finish filming with a smile even when she broke a bone. How could she not be able to tolerate this pain? He watched as Xiangyi carefully inserted a few needles into his wound. "Are you feeling better?" "Much better." Xiangyi was relieved. She patted his head and said, "Have a good rest. I'll make you something to eat." Unexpectedly, when she walked towards the small outdoor kitchen, Shi Sui followed behind her like a little tail. "Xiangyi?" Shi Sui's expression did not change. "I want to do a live stream and explain to my fans so that they don't have to worry." Xiangyi suddenly understood. "You're so thoughtful. Should I call director Li over for you?" When it came to live streaming, Li Jinyu was still the most skilled. Shi Sui raised her hand and hooked the hem of the girl's shirt with her fair and slender fingers. "But I won't be streaming alone. I want to do it with you, Sister E." Si Chuanbai. He raised his hand to his forehead to hide his dumbfounded expression. He really couldn't bear to look at her. "Oh, I see." Xiangyi didn't think it was a big deal. After all, Shi Sui was a fragile man. Let's do it together then. As a result, today's episode of Two Under One Roof began airing in advance. Dear viewers and friends, don't pass by. Today's menu: stewed goose in an iron pot. The main ingredient is a goose. That's it. Li Jinyu was particularly mischievous and got the cameraman to take a picture of the white goose that was still strolling around carefreely. The white goose was bold and took a domineering stride towards the cameraman. It tilted its head and asked, "Quack." The pop-up comments: "Hurry. Run. Ah. Danger, danger, danger. I feel like reciting a poem at this moment. Goose, goose, goose. Cut its neck with a knife, pluck its feathers, and boil it in water. Stewed goose in an iron pot." Chapter 300. In the next second, a pair of fair and slender hands seemed to have appeared out of thin air and mercilessly picked it up. "It's so fat, it'll definitely be very fragrant when stewed," the girl commented in a gentle voice. The netizens were dumbfounded. "What? Little fairy, why are you saying the cruelest things in the most gentle tone? Goose, cause of death, too fat. How many times have I told you? If you're too fat, you'll be eaten." I'm shivering in front of the screen as I munch on duck neck and drink milk tea. The big white goose, which was extremely ferocious and had a heartless mouth, met Xiangyi, who was even more heartless. It screamed as it was taken away. The cameraman even took a long shot of Xiangyi as she walked away, looking as if she didn't care about anyone else. A few minutes later, the goose was taken away. The process was too gory, so by the time everyone saw the goose, it was already lying naked on the chopping board. The netizens were very mischievous. Goose, you're all cheap. You're all craving for my body. This show is so delicious. Ahem, it's so interesting. I'm going to record the recipe now. The goose's life was short and glorious, ordinary yet great. It passed away peacefully. There were also a few haters who complained. I feel so bad. Goose is so cute. Why do you have to eat goose? Why must you eat goose? Are you that greedy? That's a life we're talking about. Girls should be gentle and virtuous. Slaughtering small animals is too cruel. The vase fairy is so cold-blooded. The netizens' response to this was, don't look at the idiot. Because it was time for everyone's happy mukbang. The fresh goose meat was cut into small pieces, and water was added to the pot to boil the meat. Scallions, ginger, garlic, dried chili, orange peel, and cilantro were cut and set aside. She then heated up the oil and added the goose meat for stir-frying. She then added the old soy sauce and cooking wine and stir-fried them evenly. At this point, the aroma of the goose meat had already spread. The staff at the scene couldn't help but take a few deep breaths and subconsciously began to salivate. Xiangyi added an appropriate amount of water to the pot and simmered it with firewood. The goose meat would be simmered for about 40 minutes before adding the side dishes. This was the perfect time to interact with Shi Sui's fans. The little girl looked up at Shi Sui. The two of them had a tacit understanding. Shi Sui immediately said, as you can see, the goose has been stewed. Upon hearing his voice, some fans immediately asked about his situation. Li Jinyu asked the staff to bring over a tablet so that he could better see the comments of the netizens in the live broadcast room. I'm sorry to have made everyone worried. My injuries are not serious and have been treated. It's true. I'm not lying to you. Shi Sui smiled. Liars have long noses. The fans in the live broadcast room were excited by his smile. Ah, Sheringi, don't laugh like that. Too flirtatious, too flirtatious. My legs are turning to jelly. Who can resist this? The sense of immersion is so strong. I feel like I'm already on my way to getting married to Shi Sui. We think of all is well year-round behavior. Shi Sui muttered to himself. Xiangyi, who was behind him, naturally handed him a small stool, and he took the opportunity to sit down. He sat upright and had a noble temperament, as if he shouldn't be in this smoky kitchen. He restrained his smile and spoke with a sincere and serious attitude. There's nothing wrong with liking someone, and this kind of feelings shouldn't be trampled on. Everyone has the right to like someone, and similarly, they also have the right to not like someone. Please don't turn your personal liking into a burden for others. Chapter 301. Following Shi Sui's low voice, the live stream. Boo-hoo, this man is so gentle. From the beginning to the end, he didn't define all is well year-round as an obsessive fan. He probably wants to save the other party some face. QAQ, he can still be so calm and composed when he's being harassed and hurt. Seriously, even if he's pretending, I love Sheringi's worldview. Someone noticed that Xiangyi was busy sitting on a small stool next to her and commented out of curiosity, not expecting Shi Sui to be the one to pick her up. What's Sister E doing? She's picking peas. The camera turned to Xiangyi, who cooperated. I'm going to make pea cakes. Li Jinyu, oh? You can make this yourself? Xiangyi, yes, but it's a bit time-consuming. Normally, she wouldn't make this, but Xiangyi liked it. So it was worth it to spend some time. Shi Sui drawled lazily. Sister E, everyone has a lot of questions for you. However, he refused to say what the questions were. What did they ask? The tablet was in Shi Sui's hands, and the comments flew by. In order to get a better look, Xiangyi unknowingly drew closer to him. In the camera, their heads were almost touching. The couple fans who hadn't eaten sweets for a few days were extremely excited. Aw, sisters, I'll give you a salute first. I'll say it again, untimely SZD. It's true, sitting on a small stool in a row and reading the comments head-to-head. Shi Sui's sister E is so cute. Seeing the words untimely, Xiangyi's ears began to heat up. She began to think of the content that Anan had shown her before. Ahem, you want to know the recipe? I'll write down the details later and post it on Weibo. Xiangyi picked out the question seriously. She wanted to ignore the words untimely, but the man next to her suddenly said something. Untimely? Isn't that an idiom? The tone of this sentence was innocent, and the expression was blank. It could be said that she was naive and sweet. Xiangyi. She hummed dryly and pretended to be very serious as she continued to pick the beans. Bullet screen. Ha ha, I bet sister he knows the true meaning of untimely. Hee hee, it's obvious that the vase fairy is leading the hype. Poor Shuringdi, he's been kept in the dark so miserably. What a joke. This is the first time I've seen a CP fan dance in front of the main character. Do they have brains? I'm just asking if it's awkward. The next second, Shui took out his phone. Because his right forearm was injured, he had to use his left hand to type, so his typing was a little slow. However, so it's a combination of our names. Shui clicked her tongue. There's a superscript. I'll go in and take a look. Xiangyi. The little girl's expression changed slightly, losing her usual calmness. You don't look, it was too late. Shui looked at it. Not only did he look at it, but he also commented in real time. This Q version of the character is quite cute. Cut the video of the sweet, exploding your girlish heart, self-made, untimely emoji pack. Follow the comments to receive it. On Weibo Shui's Weibo account, there was the following update. Shui V has followed the superscript untimely. Come and play with me. Shui V has checked in with the superscript untimely for a day in a row. Come and check in with me. Shui V has contributed all the points to the superscript untimely. Come and hit the leaderboard with me. The netizens were speechless. Chapter 302. The netizens were dumbfounded. In particular, the netizens who did not watch the live stream began leaving comments on Shui's Weibo account. Could it be that his account was hacked? Shui, I'm rooting for myself and sister E to be a couple. It's fine that he's following them, but why is he still voting? The netizens who were watching the show played the role of popularizing the situation. Shui and Xiangyi are doing a live stream together. When interacting with the fans, Shui saw that someone mentioned that it was inappropriate for them to be together. Hence, she searched for it and even paid attention to it. This man is so good at variety shows. I'm impressed. There were also some who whispered and questioned. Is it really for variety shows? I feel like he's more into it than I am, of course. The Shui sisters were adamant that it was for variety shows. Before Shui's official announcement was made, they would never give Xiangyi a proper status. Humph. In the small kitchen, the aroma of the stewed goose meat was already wafting out of the iron pot. Xiangyi had also added some Chinese herbs, such as ginger, grass, nutmeg, and so on. The faint aroma of the herbs blended perfectly with the aroma of the meat, making it seem like a living immortal. However, Xiangyi's mind was not on the dishes at all. She couldn't help but ask, I heard that it's a CP. CP means couple, so? Shui asked calmly as he looked her in the eye. Her rhetorical question made Xiangyi dumbfounded. Am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Shui seems to be just surfing the internet for fun. It shouldn't be a big deal to follow him. If Sangchen or Xiang Li were present, they would definitely be able to tell that Shui was up to no good. That's a skill that can fool people. Xiangyi successfully brainwashed herself and completed her logic. I'm rooting for myself. It seems quite fun. In the live stream, Sister Yi's expression changed from confusion to determination. I'm dying of laughter. Xiang Yi, don't be fooled by that old fox. You're not allowed to date. Mama, no. Newbie, what kind of lame show is this? First, it stews a goose, and now it's knocking itself on the head. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to join the update list. The entire live broadcast room was filled with ha-ha laughter. Hashtag untimely hashtag and hashtag Shui's #1 fan hashtag were also trending. The popularity of the Hot Topics had skyrocketed, and Shui and Xiangyi had also gained a lot of fans. South City, at a dinner party. Qin Wanyan drank with him for half a day, thinking that she could get some resources from the variety show. Although it was only a flying guest for one episode, this was a national-level variety show. Everyone, from the elderly to the elementary and middle school students, loved to watch it. However, she only went to the bathroom to touch up her makeup. When she returned, she saw the director and the others laughing at their phones. Ha ha ha, Shui is so funny. This female artist is also funny. Her name is Xiangyi. I've been following two under one roof. She's quite versatile. She can play musical instruments, she can also practice medicine, and she's a great cook. Oh? In that case, she's quite suitable for our variety show. Seeing that the resources were about to go to Xiangyi, Qin Wanyan clenched her fists and said softly, Xiangyi, I know her. She used to be good friends with me, but she's been ignoring me ever since she became famous. The director frowned. Qin Wanyan took the opportunity to fan the flames. She's been entangled with many male artists. I have screenshots here. While showing the screenshots to the director and the others, Qin Wanyan said, to use a popular phrase, she's a sea queen. Chapter 303. In the past year, Xiangyi had sent her a lot of screenshots of their chats. Qin Wanyan had specially created a folder and saved all the pictures. Qin Wanyan was actually very disdainful of Xiangyi. She was clearly the daughter of a wealthy family, but she was a love-struck fool who couldn't help but flirt with good-looking boys whenever she saw one. However, she seemed to have reached an agreement with a mysterious person that forbade her from dating or having any intimate relations with boys. Hence, she only dared to touch the hands of other boys, such as Yan Nai and Xiao Yang. Yan Nai has also been harassed by her before. He's the son of Yan Zhenhua, Director Yan. Later on, he was traumatized. Xiao Yang from the Xiao family has also been taken advantage of by her, with the chat records as evidence, coupled with the names of the two people mentioned by Qin Wanyan. The faces of the director and the others became more and more sullen. Seeing this, Qin Wanyan ruthlessly revealed a piece of shocking news. The most exaggerated thing is that she once climbed into her own brother's bed. In an instant, there was an uproar. In the live stream of Two Under One Roof, the steaming hot stewed goose was out of the oven. The golden goose meat was scooped into a porcelain white soup bowl. After several hours of stewing, the meat was soft and the bones were peeled off. With a gentle pinch of chopsticks, the bones and meat were easily separated. There were also cut potatoes and carrots in it, which added to the color of the dish. After taking a whiff, the aroma overflowed. After taking a bite, the aftertaste was endless. Along with a few light vegetarian dishes, a sumptuous meal was ready. The netizens were about to cry. Goose, you died so tragically. My tears are flowing from the corners of my mouth. My takeout hasn't arrived yet. I'm crying so hard. I'm dying. The only bag of instant noodles left at home has expired for several months. Can I still eat it? I'm waiting online. It's urgent. This meal is too sumptuous. Sister E, I'm hurting all over. Can you send me a portion by express delivery? Or send me to your house by express delivery? Xiangyi was about to wake up Yan Nai, but he woke up first. Because he was at home, the man was no longer wearing formal clothes. Instead, he had changed into black silk-home clothes. His movements were calm and elegant, and as soon as he entered the camera, he captured the attention of countless people. What the F***CK? Is this the new guest? Man, you've successfully attracted my attention. I want all his information in 5 minutes. Those legs, that waist, I vaguely saw abdominal muscles just now, they're so tough. This rice is so handsome. Cough, this brother smells so good. Cough, cough, this beauty is a feast for the eyes. The ancients didn't lie. Found it. I used the image recognition function to find him. The founder of Linchin law firm, Sangchen. Wait, the last time Professor Xiangli came, Xiangyi seemed to call him second brother. Could this sanction be Big Brother? There was a lot of discussion in the live stream. Sanction had already calmly sat down. He seemed to be unintentionally separating Xiangyi and Shui from each other. The temperament of a domineering brother protecting his sister was firmly grasped. Si Chuanbai didn't care. He picked up a piece of goose meat and stuffed it into his mouth. The tender and fragrant goose meat had a pure taste. It was fragrant but not greasy, and had a faint herbal aroma. It tasted so good. Delicious. It's so delicious. Si Chuanbai rarely lost his composure. Shui also nodded gently, indicating that it tasted good. Sanction was the only one who said indifferently, "It's just so." Immediately, a netizen pointed out, "This is the first time the vase fairy has failed. This man is definitely not her biological brother." Chapter 304. This comment garnered the approval of many people. "I'm so annoyed by vase fairy's brainless praises. So every man is your brother? Don't you think Xiang Yi is like a white lotus who had a bunch of brothers when she was in school? Wake up, Sanction is a top financial lawyer in the country who only takes on IPO cases. The truly impressive lawyers don't even have to appear in court to earn tens of millions of yuan in commission. Is Xiangyi worthy of him? Why does she get all the good things?" Most people felt that Sanction was likely to be Xiangyi's brother, but they couldn't resist the logical analysis of the haters and their confident tone, causing many people to waver. Well, Xiangyi's brothers included an esports guru, an international fashion designer, a genius medical doctor, and a top financial lawyer. How could it be possible? At the dining table, Xiangyi tasted the goose meat and frowned slightly. It seems a little out of place with a few spices mixed together, but that's not right. I've mixed them like this before. Si Chuanbai was speechless. "Are you serious, Miss Xiangyi? Are you that strict with your culinary skills?" To him, this was already a delicacy that he would only get to eat a few times in his life. God knows how much he wanted his artiste to marry Miss Xiangyi. Even if he couldn't marry her, he might as well marry into her family. He was willing to be Miss Xiangyi's manager in the future, as long as he could have such a meal occasionally in the future. Sanction said indifferently, "Mushroom." Xiangyi immediately understood. "Ah, I see." Shui said thoughtfully, "Is there a conflict between spices?" Si Chuanbai was speechless. He was a top manager, but at this moment, he felt like he was the only one in elementary school who didn't know anything. His dumbfounded expression was so hilarious that Li Jinyu shamelessly asked the photographer to take a few more close-up shots of him. However, Li Jinyu was indeed curious. "What's going on, Sister E?" Xiangyi said, "Mushrooms are rich in glutamic acid, which is an acidic amino acid. They have a unique taste and can be dissolved in water. This is one of the reasons why mushroom soup is so delicious. However, it conflicts with the seasoning, so the soup tastes a little strange." She tasted it carefully, then picked out a piece of Chinese medicine seasoning and made a judgment. "It should be this. Li Jinyu, let me have a taste. I won't believe you if you don't have proof." Bullet screen. I suggest everyone type the words "shameless old thief" on the public chat. Xiangyi served him a bowl of stewed goose. Li Jinyu tasted it and his eyes widened. "Such delicious food, I can swallow it whole." What was strange about it? He finished the meat and potatoes in 2 or 3 bites and drank the soup in a huff. He shamelessly said, "It's too little. I can't taste anything. Give me another bowl." The bullet screen was instantly flooded with "I've never seen such a shameless director. Is it that magical? Lawyer Xiang's taste is too picky. Xiangyi's taste buds are so strong. She can actually guess which seasoning it is with just one taste. Who knows if it's true or not? Maybe she's just making things up. Who knows if she's bragging? Toxic. If it's not delicious, why would director Li Shui and Si Chuanbai enjoy it so much? I think in some people's eyes, Sister Yi's existence is the original sin. Everything she does is wrong. Vase Fairies fans, stop trying to scare her. There's a new melon that you've cooked on Weibo. Open it and you'll be surprised, hee hee. Chapter 305. She clicked on Weibo to see that hashtag Qinhuanyan had been deleted in seconds. It was at the 4th position on the hot search list, and its popularity was still rising. The reason was that Qinhuanyan had posted a 9-grid screenshot and deleted it very quickly. She then posted on Weibo to claim that her account had been hacked. However, in this era where the internet had memories, it was too easy to find traces of the screenshot. Some netizens reposted the screenshots that Qinhuanyan had posted. All of them were chat records, and they were screenshots from the chat records. Although the pictures were blurry, the netizens couldn't resist the enthusiasm of the netizens, and soon, the content was deciphered. The first picture was of Xiangyi complaining to Qinhuanyan. "Yennai's little brother is quite cute, but he's so shy. I just touched his hand, and his ears and neck are all red." The next picture was of the conversation between Xiangyi and Yennai. Frowny face Xiangyi. "Is Yennai asleep? Are you free tomorrow night? Let's have dinner together, okay, Yennai? Yennai. Sister Xiangyi, don't do this in the future. I really find it disgusting." The second picture was of Xiangyi showing off. "After flirting with him for so long, I finally got Xiaoyang. He thinks he's my one and only. What a joke. I'm actually just rearing a fish. It's silly for a woman to pin all her happiness on one man. I'll be happier if I find a few more." The next picture was of the conversation between Xiangyi and Xiaoyang. Frowny face Xiangyi. "Hubby, shy. Xiaoyang, wifey, send me a kiss." "Xiangyi, I miss you so much. I'm working so hard on the variety show, and you didn't even come to visit me." "Xiaoyang, baby, it's been hard on you. I'll go tomorrow. I'll also arrange for a food truck and a milk tea cart for you. You have to give baby E the best support in the world." In addition, there were also chat records with other artists, music producers, and rich heirs. If that was all, everyone would at most think that she was just a female version of Poseidon. Although she flirted a lot, she didn't have the guts to be lustful. She was all talk and no action. But the last picture caused everyone's worldview to explode. In the record, Qinhuanyan was the one who started the conversation. "Are you on bad terms with your family?" Xiangyi replied, "Last time, I accidentally climbed into my big brother's bed. He was so angry that he almost scared me to death. Sob. I didn't do it on purpose. I feel wronged." The picture in the picture was a conversation between her and her brother. "Xiangyi, big brother, don't ignore me. I know I was wrong." Xiangyi, "Big brother, can you give me some pocket money? I've been so broke lately." Xiangyi, Gidge, pay attention to me." Sangchun, busy Xiangyi, "Can I fly abroad to play with you? I promise that what happened last time won't happen again." Sangchun, "Behave, or else you know the consequences." Weibo exploded. The server was on the verge of collapse. The netizens vented their anger on Xiangyi's Weibo. Initially, she had posted detailed recipes for 2 dishes. Although there weren't many comments below, they were heartwarming. However, there was now a bloodbath. Her persona has collapsed. She's taking advantage of Annai's younger brother? Be more serious. Do you think our god is a spare tire? You're rearing fish? Screw you. You're an orphan. I'm so disgusted. She climbed into Lawyer Xiang's bed and still has the cheek to act coquettishly with him? To highlight, he's her biological brother. Ugh, my dinner from last night is about to pop out. Chapter 306. There was an uproar on Weibo, Melon Forums, WeChat Moments. Tomato Entertainment's public relations department acted as if they didn't exist. They were lying flat and accepting the ridicule, as if they had nothing to do with it. Instead, it became a signal that these revelations must be true. Otherwise, why didn't Xiangyi herself or Xiangyi's management company come out to deny it? At the very least, they should have issued a statement or sent a lawyer's letter to warn her. If they didn't deny it, it would be equivalent to admitting it. If they couldn't prove their innocence, they would have to suffer. In the apartment, Qinhuanyan looked at the silly netizens celebrating and smirked smugly. On WeChat, her manager sent her a message. Wan Yen, the contract for that variety show has been sent over. If you don't have any questions, I'll confirm it. Qin Wan Yen replied with an okay, threw her phone aside, and slowly poured herself a glass of wine. I really don't understand that stupid woman, Xiangyi. She clearly has so many good cards, but she didn't use them in the past year. Now, she's messed up her good cards and lost everything. She's even bringing up her brothers again. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. If the appearance of her 3 brothers had helped her increase her popularity, then now, Qin Wan Yen was like a bomb. Now, Big Brother's appearance was like a bomb. She only pulled the fuse a little, and it exploded with a bang. No matter what, Xiangyi couldn't afford to be accused of seducing her brothers. Imagining Xiangyi being nailed to the pillar of shame for the rest of her life, Qin Wan Yen drank her red wine happily. In the manner, after Li Jinyu saw the news that the staff handed to him, he immediately ordered the live stream to end. The live stream came to an abrupt end, followed by a statement on the official Weibo account of Two Under One Roof, saying that there was a problem with the equipment and that the restoration time was to be determined. The netizens expressed that they didn't buy it. Please clean up Xiangyi's misdeeds. Smile, smile, smile. Haha, I thought the show was meant to help Shui stabilize his popularity, but now it seems that it's just to promote XY. Vase Fairy is definitely the royal of variety shows. She's been supporting her openly and secretly. Even when something happened, she didn't give up. No matter how much the fans protest, she's still focused. This popular variety show will sooner or later be ruined by her, fortunately. The live stream ended before the situation escalated further. Xiangyi was dumbfounded when she saw the screenshot. She would never have thought that the terrible thing that her uncle was talking about was that the person who had taken over her body had climbed into her big brother's bed. The girl's face was pale. She pushed away the bowl and chopsticks and staggered back to her room. He did not even dare to turn around to look at Sanction. She was afraid to see the look of disgust in her elder brother's eyes. She was even more afraid that her brother would never forgive her in this lifetime. Sanction frowned. He stood up and wanted to chase after her, but was stopped by Shui. Get out of my way. Sanction's tone was cold. Shui said helplessly, Is there no one in your Xiang family who knows how to coax girls? Sanction snorted. Do I need you to teach me that? Shui. TSK, let me guess. How are you going to coax her? Give her a candy? Sanction had one hand in the pocket of his home clothes, and his fingertips were gently twirling a candy, when he suddenly paused. Milk candy. Sure enough, it's a family heirloom. The corners of Shui's mouth twitched slightly. Let me do this kind of thing. He blinked his long eyelashes at Sanction. Brother, I'm the best at comforting Sister E. Chapter 307. Xiang Chen's jawline was taut, and his aura was sharp and cold, with a natural sense of oppression. The innocent Sichuan Bai was a little flustered. He felt that Sanction could beat up Shui at any time. However, in the end, his sister-complexed nature prevailed. Xiang Chen closed her eyes and gritted her teeth. If I can't coax you, you'll be dead. Shui replied. Okay, Sanction was speechless. Xiangyi hugged her knees and sat on the floor. She leaned against the side of the bed, and her mind was in a mess. Perhaps second brother's guess was right. She wasn't the real fast transmigrator. She was just a substitute. In the fast transmigration world, she didn't care if she was mocked, betrayed, framed, or abandoned. Because those were people who had nothing to do with her. Because she didn't care, she didn't care. But now, all her efforts seemed to have turned into a joke. Xiangyi thought that she had a good mentality and could handle life and death situations calmly. But now, her mentality had really collapsed. No matter how strong a person was, they had their weaknesses. Xiangyi couldn't accept this reality. Click, the door lock moved slightly. Xiangyi turned a deaf ear to it. She only raised her head slowly when she felt a warm and strong hand on her head. It was Shui. She forced herself to be alert and asked in a soft and hoarse voice, How did you get in? Shui cleared his throat, as if he didn't think it was something to be proud of. I was in prison for a few days when I was acting in a movie and learned some lock-picking skills. I see. Xiangyi pursed her lips. She wanted to reply with a smile, but she felt that she couldn't even smile. Shi Sui's eyes flickered. He bent down and sat beside her. One of his long legs was on the ground while the other was slightly bent. As he moved, his ankle bones were exposed and the soft cotton fabric rubbed against his fair skin. You don't have to smile if you don't want to. Do you want a shoulder or a tissue? I recommend the shoulder option because I'm wearing sweat-absorbent clothes today. It should be good for absorbing tears. Do you want to try it, Sister E? Xiangyi hesitated for a few seconds before she slowly, gently, and carefully leaned on his shoulder. Although she always said that Shi Sui was a little kid, in her heart, Shi Sui was still the reliable and gentle brother next door whom she had found reliable since they were young. Shi Sui remained silent and accompanied her silently. The room was extremely quiet. After an unknown period of time, Xiangyi said in a low voice, I suddenly miss Mom and Dad. Shi pursed his thin lips. The parents of Xiangyi and the others had died in an accident. And the cruelest thing was that Xiangyi was the only survivor of that accident. She witnessed her parents' deaths with her own eyes. She also experienced some rumors that shouldn't have existed. Those boring and ugly so-called elders would repeatedly whisper in her ears, Do you miss your parents? Your brothers will blame you for being a jinx. You've become an unwanted child. You've become an unwanted child. Once little Xiangyi started crying, they would say, this child can't be teased. We're just joking. What's there to cry about? Shi Sui's voice was gentle as he coaxed her patiently. Uncle and Auntie have become stars in the sky, protecting you. Sanction and the others have never blamed you or been angry with you, because all of them know that you're the best sister in the world, Xiangyi. Chapter 308. Xiangyi didn't say anything, but her nose was a little sour. Her forehead was pressed against Shi Sui's shoulder, and she could feel the warmth of his body. Shi Sui whispered, My hearing isn't very good either. Others might not understand, but Xiangyi immediately understood. He repeated what she had said before. The girl's nasal voice was thick. I won't cry. She probably cried too much when she was young, and now that she was older, she couldn't cry anymore. When she was sad, her first reaction was not to cry, but to endure. Shi Sui chuckled. Well, our sister, he has always been a very strong child. He still remembered the fair and soft Xiangyi, crying and driving away those annoying elders. She looked so fierce when she left. At that time, Xiangli was holding her. Xiang Feng spat at those people, and Xiang Yu was spitting profanities. As for Sanction, he was even more ruthless. He weighed a brick and stood on the side like a cold-faced king of hell, a proper threat. No matter how the 5 children fought at home, they would always stand together outside. Xiangyi calmed down for a while, and her emotions calmed down a little. She belatedly realized that Shi Sui had also seen that her quickly transmigrate back. She was on the bed in his room. Shi Sui didn't mention this matter again, and Xiangyi thought that he didn't care. Now that she thought about it, did he find something wrong? You, I, we. Xiangyi licked her cherry lips, raised her small face, and asked, That day at the hot spring villa, nothing happened between us, right? Shi Sui raised his eyebrows, and his dark eyes were unfathomable. Do you think something should have happened between us? This involved a blind spot in her knowledge again. Xiangyi was a little embarrassed. At that time, did I defile you? Shi Sui asked with a half-smile. Ruin? Xiangyi was annoyed. It was all on Nan's fault for using such a magical word. She had such a deep impression of this word that she blurted it out. Ahem. Then let me rephrase my question. At that time, did I do anything to you that was not in line with the core values of socialism? The little girl was full of righteousness. At first glance, she looked very steady, if one ignored her slightly red earlobes. Shi Sui pondered for a moment, causing Xiangyi's heart to skip a beat. Then he drawled, You fell asleep as soon as you entered. That night, the room card was an accident. Xiangyi had wanted to use the room card of another young hunk, but she accidentally entered Sui's room by mistake. The way that Xiangyi looked at him was truly disgusting. However, she immediately fainted. Shui originally thought that she was acting and was about to smoke a cigarette to ask Xiang Feng to come and get her, but she soon woke up. It was the same face, but the look in his eyes was different. Shui knew that she and she were no longer the same person. Hearing this, Xiangyi breathed a sigh of relief. However, looking at Sui's calm attitude, Xiangyi felt that he knew something. Just as she was about to ask, someone knocked on the door. Bang, bang, bang. Following that was a familiar silly voice. Little Xiangyi, open the door. I know you're in there. Look at what you've done. Stupid girl, as your uncle, I must teach you a lesson today. It was Xiang Feng, who had rushed over after hearing the news. When he saw the trending topic, he almost fainted from anger. Creak, the door opened. Xiang Feng was about to criticize her as an elder, but he suddenly met the girl's red eyes and uneasy and pitiful appearance. Xiang Feng. Ahem, actually I thought about it. It's not a big deal. Chapter 309. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Huh. Xiang Feng said righteously, Uncle, how can you not believe our little Xiangyi? It's a misunderstanding. It must be a misunderstanding. Okay, don't cry. Uncle will take you to eat your favorite junk food. Xiangyi clenched her little fists. She was ready to be scolded, but she didn't expect such a turn of events. The little girl nodded dizzily. 10 minutes later, Sanction couldn't wait to come out of his room. He wanted to see how Shui had coaxed Xiang Feng. However, Shui was in the living room, but Xiangyi was nowhere to be seen. The bedroom door was open, and there was no sign of the girl. Sanction gritted his teeth. Where's my sister? How did she coax him? Did he coax her away? Shui, brother, before I answer your question, can you take a deep breath first? Sanction. Shui, Xiang Feng is here. These 4 words naturally drew hatred. Sanction's eyebrows twitched violently. He took Sister E to eat junk food. Sanction. Location. Every word seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth. Shui blinked. Brother, you have to pay for information, Sanction sneered. I think you're still sleeping. You're not going to tell me? Then I'll beat you until you tell me. Seeing that the man was rolling up his sleeves, Shui said, he also brought iced milk tea and cola for Sister E. Sanction gritted his teeth. Deal. In the parking garage. Although Xiangyi was the only one living in the manor, her brothers all had cars here. There were limited edition sports cars, motorcycles, and Xiang Feng's hovercar everywhere. In the most spacious off-road vehicle. Come, little Xiangyi, eat this fried chicken while it's hot. And this strawberry cheese smoothie, it's amazing. Do you want an iced cola? Do you want to try drinking from 2 straws at the same time? You'll get double the happiness. Xiang Feng was frantically promoting. He had been busy with work recently. After all, he was also a domineering CEO. It had been a long time since he last visited his little niece. It wasn't easy for her to come here. Of course, she had to bring delicious food for her niece. His original plan was to punish Xiangyi first. Society didn't punish her, but he, her biological uncle, would do it himself. Coaxing after hitting. Now, he was just skipping the step of beating him up. There was nothing wrong with rounding it up. Xiangyi was like a little hamster, nestled in the back seat, eating happily. This cheap, thick, and especially rich smell of food additives and essence, it was so delicious. The girl, who was calm and collected in front of outsiders, let herself loose in front of her little uncle. She drank milk tea and cola, and her little legs fluttered in happiness. Uncle, you're so nice. At this moment, little uncle was the best person in the world. He didn't accept any rebuttals. Xiang Feng looked at her with eyes full of affection. Look at you. You're as thin as a piece of paper. Let me tell you, you should gain at least 5 kilograms. Little girls need to be white and chubby to be cute. Xiangyi's cheeks puffed up. I've already gained several kilograms. Xiang Feng picked through the food bag. This bag is the devil's spicy strips. The last time I ate spicy food, I cried. Should I open one for you? Mm. The little girl nodded like she was pounding garlic. The next second, the car window was knocked on. Xiangyi held her breath, thinking that there was an anti-peeping film on the car window. He couldn't see her. Xiang Feng was also nervous and accidentally blurted out, "There's no one in the car. There's really no one." Xiangyi, who was completely unprepared. Chapter 310. Xiang Feng made up for it. It's just me. Really. Xiangyi. She looked at her little uncle, her eyes full of pain. Her big brother's cold, demonic voice came from outside the car window. I advise the two of you not to make any futile resistance. Open the door. Xiang Feng was quick-witted. Actually, I'm in the car next door. Xiangyi. She couldn't bear to look. She really couldn't bear to look. The fried chicken in her hand didn't even taste good anymore. I'll count to 3. If you don't open the door, don't blame me for being rude. Sangchen's voice was as cold as ice. 3. Before he could count, the uncle and nephew immediately opened the door. They didn't even dare to think about resisting, let alone think about it. The rich, oily aroma of food filled the car. Sangchen only felt his temples twitch a few times. He crossed his arms and looked down at the scene from above. Xiangyi had fried chicken in her left hand and spicy strips in her right. It was obvious she was enjoying her meal. Xiang Feng had milk tea in his left hand and cola in his right. It was obvious he was feeding Xiangyi. Heh. Sangchen suddenly sneered. Uncle and nephew, tremble. Xiang Feng was still responsible. He trembled as he said, "It's not about little Xiangyi. I forced her to eat it." Sangchen, inverting right and wrong. That's a double crime. Xiang Feng's eyes widened. We're both adults. What's wrong with eating some snacks? Sangchen, stubborn. That's a double crime. Xiang Feng was instantly terrified. I was wrong. I really know. I apologize to you on behalf of little Xiangyi and myself. Sangchen, hypocrisy. That's a triple crime. Xiang Feng. So everything I say is wrong. You come down. This sentence was directed at Xiang Feng. Xiangyi shrank behind him and looked at him with pleading eyes. Little uncle, don't go. Xiang Feng's eyes were filled with tears. Little Xiangyi, uncle loves you the most. Don't worry, uncle will never abandon you. We, uncle and nephew, will share riches and tribulations together. Let's share fried chicken and cola. Xiangyi was extremely touched. Her cherry lips opened and closed as if she wanted to say something. In just an instant, Xiang Feng decisively got out of the car from the other side and ran away like a wisp of smoke. The speed at which those legs moved was even faster than that of a rabbit's. If he doubled his speed, he would probably leave behind after images. She wondered what he had been through all these years, Xiangyi. So the love between family members will disappear, right? He turned his neck stiffly and met his eldest brother's gaze. The man's tall figure was hidden in the dim light of the garage. His legs were long and straight, and his whole body exuded a sense of oppression that had existed since he was young. He lowered his eyes, exuding a sharp and intimidating aura. Little rabbit, continue shaking, Sangchen said slowly. Eat. Why aren't you eating? Fried chicken won't taste good when it's cold. Xiangyi's eyes were filled with horror. Her hand trembled and she almost dropped the fried chicken. Brother. Now you know how to call me brother? What were you doing earlier? The corners of Sangchen's mouth curled downward, full of cold disdain. His irritable mood couldn't be suppressed and rose from his heart, especially when he saw the cold and spicy food. It was like a ball of fire was burning unscrupulously. His tone became harsh and cold. Xiangyi, you've really grown up. You ran away from home without a word and didn't even say goodbye when you came home. You'd rather be comforted by that dog of a man, Sure Sway, than come find me? Do you still see me as your big brother? Chapter 311. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. She remained motionless as she held the fried chicken and spicy sticks in her hand. A few seconds later, she gradually came to her senses. Big brother meant she had a guess, but she wasn't sure. Sanction kept a straight face and was about to continue lecturing her when the girl suddenly burped cutely. Xiangyi, Sanction. Indeed, carbonated drinks like cola shouldn't be drunk too much with a hiccup interrupting. Sanction turned his face and covered his thin lips with his hand. Xiangyi didn't know if it was her imagination, but she felt that her big brother was secretly laughing. Ahem. Sanction cleared his throat and said fiercely, "Do you know what you did wrong?" Xiangyi nodded. "Do you still dare to run away from home next time?" Xiangyi shook her head. Sanction was satisfied. "Okay, let's eat fried chicken." Xiangyi looked at him in disbelief, thinking that she had heard wrong. Can I eat it?" the girl asked timidly. Sanction was a little confused. Was he some kind of demon king? Why was she so scared of him every time she saw him? It was understandable that his little uncle and the others were scared of him. It was normal for men to fight when they didn't like each other. However, had he ever laid a finger on his little sister since she was young? Every time, she would cry before he could scold her. He was so scared that he didn't even dare to speak loudly to her. Xiangyi took a bite of the fried chicken tentatively. Seeing that her big brother's expression was normal, she quickly took a few more bites. "Sub, I can't believe I dared to eat junk food in front of Big Brother in my lifetime." This scene could be written into the story of how she was weak and pitiful under the control of the Xiang family's Chen. However, when she was about to eat the spicy sticks, her big brother mercilessly took them away. "You can't eat spicy or cold food." Seeing his little sister's face pucker up, Sanchin's heart softened. Then, he returned to his cold and heartless self. But won't these go to waste?" Xiangyi said softly. Sanchin was silent for 2 seconds. "Excuse me." "Huh. Make some space for me," the man said indifferently. He sat down beside her and expressionlessly took a bite of the spicy strip. TSK. It was indeed trash. Xiangyi looked at him eagerly. "Is it delicious?" Sanchin said with disdain. "It tastes awful." "Xiangyi, if it's disgusting, why don't you give it to me? Why do you want to torture yourself and me?" "That milk tea, let's drink it at room temperature." "Xiangyi, what soul would there be left in iced milk tea and iced cola if they were placed at room temperature?" "What are you looking at?" "Don't look." Sanchin felt that his tone was too rigid and serious. He lowered his voice and said, "You're still acting. Don't you know that your period is coming soon?" Xiangyi, degree asterisk. Big brother actually remember this. Sanchin silently ate a few mouthfuls of the spicy strip. The more he ate, the deeper his frown became. What the hell? Was this something that humans ate? His taste buds were very sensitive. He could only taste the additives and low-quality oil. Big brother, the girl's delicate and weak voice sounded in his ears. It was small and timid. Xiangyi licked the corner of her lips. Did she really do something to you? If they didn't talk about it, it would become a knot between her and her brother for the rest of their lives. The siblings had a tacit understanding. Sanchin immediately understood who she was referring to. Thinking of that ridiculous scene, his jaw tightened. His long and narrow eyes outlined an earth-shattering coldness. "Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I can't tell who is my sister? Who is the imposter?" Chapter 312. That night, Sanchin saw Xiangyi at the hospital. When he found out that his sister had been in a car accident, he pushed aside all his work and rushed to the hospital immediately. After watching over his sister for a few hours, he was a little sleepy and slept on the guest bed next to her. Later, the imposter woke up and looked at him on the edge of the bed. Sanchin opened his eyes and found that she was looking at him strangely. Sangchen didn't think much of it at first and asked in a low voice, "Are you hungry? Do you want some porridge?" The girl blinked and said in a sweet voice, "Brother, you're so nice." Sangchen immediately sensed that something was wrong. "Brother, I want you to sleep with me for a while." The girl climbed onto the bed nimbly and snuggled into the man's arms. She raised her hand and slid it to his sleeve, rubbing it ambiguously. That person was using the face of his closest sister, but she was saying the most disgusting words. Sangchen grabbed her neck. His body was covered in frost, and the coldness could crush everything. He was domineering and domineering. "Where did you take my sister?" The imposter's eyes widened in horror. He tightened his grip, and the imposter's face turned red. She felt suffocated at the last moment. Rationality returned. Sangchen retracted his hand, his chest heaving violently. "I'll ask again. Where is my sister?" The imposter realized that he wouldn't really do anything to her, so she pretended to be deaf and mute and refused to answer. Later, Sangchen took her to see the best psychiatrist abroad. He, who was a firm believer in materialism, even turned to theology for help. There was no progress until a Taoist priest, who had gone into seclusion for a long time, accepted a favor from Grandpa Xiang and personally came to a conclusion. External evil had entered her body. The common saying was that she had been possessed by something unclean. Sangchen smoked for most of the night before he accepted this reality. Later, he came up with a bunch of regulations to restrict Xiang Yi's activities. However, there was no need to tell his sister this. Sangchen took out a tissue and handed it to her. "Wipe your mouth." Xiang Yi did as she was told. "Sangchen, Xiang Li told me about his conjecture, and I agree with him." Xiang Yi was slightly stunned. In other words, Big Brother also felt that that person would come back? Since the main system exists to help you travel between different worlds, why can't you complain about such a bug? Can you still contact the main system? This reminded Xiang Yi that she couldn't do it now, but Xiao Naofu might be able to. It seemed that it was time to pick up Xiao Naofu and bring him home. "I'll think of something." Now that the knot in her heart had been untied, she had a plan for what to do next. Xiang Yi sniffled and said pitifully, "Big Brother, if only our whole family could wear it together." Sangchen frowned. "Why? Did someone bully you?" "Yes. I've been beaten so many times, especially in the wuxia and xianxia worlds." Perhaps in Xiang Yi's heart, her big brother was the most trustworthy and dependable. She was like a childish child who would complain to her parents. "If you were there, it would definitely be our family beating others up." Sangchen. So what kind of image did his sister have of him? Xiang Yi was still fantasizing. "Big brother, you're in charge of beating people up. Second brother is in charge of trapping people. Third brother is in charge of bullying people. Fourth brother is in charge of being fierce. And little uncle, is in charge of being a mascot." She thought for a moment and said hesitantly, "How about we don't bring him along?" Tsk. A soft, hoarse, and seductive sound was heard. Every inch of the man's sharp edges softened, stretching into a happy and rare gentle arc. "Yes." Big Brother smiled. Chapter 313. Xiang Yi's courage grew a little. She was so nervous that her toes curled up. She asked tentatively, "Then can I have a sip of milk tea?" "Just one sip, really." Sangchen raised his eyebrows. He pulled out a wet towel and patiently wiped his slender fingers clean. Just as Xiang Yi was feeling disheartened, she heard two words that were like the sound of nature. "Drink it." Xiang Yi! Exclamation point. She happily picked up the milk tea and took a big sip with her cheeks puffed up. Sangchen watched as she drank a third of the milk tea. She really took a sip. Sangchen. Sensing her brother's gaze, Xiang Yi put down the milk tea reservedly and gulped it down. She burped because she was too full. However, a bright smile bloomed on her face. From today onwards, she was the fiercest child in the Xiang family. Not only did she eat fried chicken in front of her brother, but she also drank milk tea in front of him. Sanction looked at her sweet smile and swallowed the scolding that was about to come out of his mouth. Forget it, forget it. If she was naughty, then so be it. After all, his little sister needed to be pampered. Of course, he still needed to teach his little uncle a lesson. Sanction thought of business and said calmly, "Don't worry about the rumors on Weibo. I'll take care of them." Xiangyi looked at him blankly. "You didn't look at Weibo?" "No." She didn't look at it after posting the recipe. Sanction patted her head. "It's good that you didn't look at it. It should be back to normal tomorrow." He would never allow his little sister to take the blame for an imposter. Xiangyi protested in a low voice. "Brother, that's not how you pat someone's head." Sanction narrowed his eyes. "Oh, if you pat my head so hard I'll go bald." Sanction stared at her for a few seconds and sneered. "So other than me, who else touched your head? Sure Sui? Xiangyi's smile gradually disappeared. When she came back to her senses, she imitated her uncle's actions and jumped out of the car from the other side. She ran forward barefooted, almost tripping over Xiang Feng's shoes as she ran. Sanction, he wanted to maintain his expressionless face, but he couldn't hold it in, and his thin lips curled up slightly. TSK, silly rabbit. Just as the public opinion was gradually fermenting and the entire internet was denouncing Xiangyi, a Weibo post from a well-known relationship blogger completely brought the matter of Xiangyi climbing into her brother's bed to a climax. Qin He Sheng Sheng Vi. As a girl, the first thing you have to learn is self-respect, self-cleanliness, and self-love. If you can't even do these things, how could other people respect and cherish you? Forgive me for being blunt, but the female celebrity who caused such an uproar today ignored ethics and crossed the bottom line of human nature. Such behavior is really shameful. Celebrities in the entertainment industry are public figures. Any bad behavior will be magnified and have a great impact on society. Think about it. If someone imitates the female celebrity's behavior, has a messy private life, and even acts inappropriately to her brother, uncle, and father, how much social unrest will that cause? Entertainment is paramount, but entertainment should also have a bottom line. I strongly recommend that artists with such bad behavior be banned. Keep the entertainment industry clean. This blogger often made sharp comments on social issues and had many fans. Once this Weibo post was posted, it was regarded as the Bible and truth by netizens, becoming the best weapon to attack Xiangyi. However, at 8 o'clock in the evening, Linchen Law Office's official Weibo post was cold and concise. Linchen Law Office, regarding Miss Xiangyi's statement, is as follows. Not only did her account get hacked, but the Vase Fairy still hasn't replied to her message. How shameless. Did anyone notice that Yin Yan's nickname for Xiangyi is AAA with a star? She really treats Xiangyi as a friend. Everything else aside, isn't it too disgusting not to reply? It's fine if she doesn't come back for a day or two, but she hasn't come back for many days. What's the meaning of this? Does she really think that she's an A-list celebrity after gaining some popularity from participating in a lousy variety show? Qin Wanyan's fans cursed and scolded her one after another. Unexpectedly, a few minutes later, someone posted a picture. Qin Wanyan's IP address on Weibo had never changed. In other words, her account wasn't hacked at all. In an instant, there was an uproar on the internet. Chapter 315. What kind of face slapping was this? One moment she posted on Weibo, the next she exposed her IP address. It was as if she was waiting for her prey. Qin Wanyan, who saw that Weibo post, was completely dumbfounded. Am I being targeted? Why are they so vicious? How dare they embarrass me in front of so many netizens? Her manager was the one who was fuming mad. Ever since she started working with Qin Wanyan, her manager had realized that she was a troublemaker. Fortunately, her methods were very effective, and she was able to get the best resources every time. For example, she wasn't very popular at first, but she and Xiangyi had been hyped up a few times. She even created an alternate account to infiltrate Xiangyi's fan club and turned a large number of fans to become her fans. She also made use of Xiangyi's stupidity to set off her fairy-like image and obtained a lot of resources that didn't belong to her in the first place. Her manager felt that it wasn't a bad thing for an artist to be ambitious and know how to plan for herself. So she let her be. She didn't expect that although she would be late, it would definitely happen. From now on, I'm confiscating your Weibo account. After yelling at Qin Wanyan, she hurriedly thought of a way to deal with public relations. Not long after, the manager used her own Weibo account to post a public relations statement that she had rushed out at the last minute. Fatty who loves to eat hot pot v. Public opinion can melt gold. Rumors are the greatest harm to artists. Those who know Qin Wanyan will naturally understand what kind of person she is. I hope everyone won't believe the rumors, spread them, or create them. Our team will use the law as a weapon to protect our precious artist and uphold justice. Thank you, everyone. Those with a discerning eye could tell that the post was sent to the fans. Sure enough, the fans said, "Of course we believe in our goddess Qin." However, the passers-by couldn't help but mock her. I'm laughing. Others use the law for their own personal gain, but you use the law to uphold justice? Ha ha ha. This is a huge double standard. You're making it sound so dignified. Why don't you send a lawyer's letter? Learn from Vase Fairy's efficiency. Do you really think lawyers are that efficient in real life? Don't compare yourself to Lynchen Law Firm. That's the ceiling of the industry. Lawyer Sanchin's cases can be found online. He's really a big shot. I suggest that all law students, of course, you can memorize the entire text. The wind immediately changed direction. Some people began to doubt the authenticity of Qin Wanyan's screenshots, but even more people had preconceived notions. It's just a dogfight. Qin Wanyan is a white lotus, and the Vase Fairy isn't anything good either. Come on, flirting with men and climbing into their beds were all exposed by the Xiang actress herself. It's not like someone put a knife to her neck and said it. Stop washing. There was no way to wash it clean. Don't think that you can distort the truth just because you're powerful. The internet has memories. Is it that awesome to have a lawyer as a brother? Just wait and see. The Vase Fairy's family will never respond again. After all, this is considered a scandal of a wealthy family. Who in high society would be so shameless? The next second, someone exclaimed, "Holy sh**t." Xiangyi's big brother seemed to have personally responded. Search for Big Brother Tutu, and you'll see. That night, countless netizens discovered Sanchin's Weibo account. Tutu's Big Brother V. All the incidents are complications of amnesia. Our little bunny lost her memory after a car accident 376 days ago. Attached are the hospital records and the diagnosis of the psychiatrist and psychiatrist, as well as a comparison video of her before and after she lost her memory. Chapter 316. Netizens. Huh? Amnesia? Nowadays, everyone received a large number of pieces of information every day. Weibo's trending topics changed many times a day. Sometimes, netizens would even forget what they had seen. However, there were still those with good memories. They quickly explained to everyone that Dr. Xiang Li once said that Xiangyi had amnesia for a year. Everyone came to a sudden realization. So all the clues had been linked together? They clicked on the pictures. Sanchin's pictures were just like him, logical, cold, and concise. Medical records, diagnoses, and screenshots of the hospital or the psychological clinic. Some were in Chinese, some were in foreign languages, and some were in electronic files. Every picture was taken with the time, which couldn't be faked. These could be said to be irrefutable evidence. Seeing these pictures, many netizens realized that they had been played like monkeys, and even used as a tool. Some impulsive ones had already rushed to Qin Wanyan's Weibo to start Zhu in mode. There were also some who clicked on the second Weibo post, which was the surveillance video that Sanchin had posted. At the beginning of the video, there was a warm scene. It looked like a family dinner. The eldest brother was Sang-Chen, the second brother Xiang-Li, the third brother Xiang-Chi, the fourth brother Xiang-Yu, and a simple-looking man who didn't look very smart. The whole family was good-looking. Xiang-Yi in the video had slightly rounder cheeks than she was now. She was wearing a lovely cotton dress, and her hair was draped over her shoulders. She smiled very gently. Little Xiang-Yi, happy birthday. This is a gift from your uncle. The simple-looking man was the first to take out a gift box. This is a lifetime VIP card for your favorite ice cream brand. In the next second, all four brothers looked at him with murderous gazes. Sang-Chen snorted coldly. Seeing that it was his sister's birthday, he didn't argue with him. The second to present a gift was Xiang-Yu. Sister, this is a game console I'm giving you. It's a limited edition. We can play games together in the future. Then came Xiang-Chi, who said in a disdainful tone, "Your dress is too old-fashioned. Here, wear the new dress I made for you. I've embroidered many little flowers for you." Then it was Xiang-Li's turn. The man pushed his glasses and said gently, "Recently, I wrote a new artificial intelligence program. It's quite useful for checking recipes and matching nutritional information. I installed it in this stereo." The last one was Sang-Chen. The man's face was cold and his eyes were sharp. He threw a folded piece of white paper over in a domineering manner. "Write whatever you want." The others. How could this be? Xiang-Chen, you're cheating. However, when faced with Sang-Chen's frosty gaze, no one dared to say anything. All right, it's time to blow out the candles. Little Xiang-Yi, quickly make a wish." Xiang-Yi blinked and clasped her hands together. "I hope that our family can still be together next year." The video went black as it switched to the second half of the video. It was the conversation between Xiang-Yi and her brothers after she lost her memories. "You're my brother? You're my brother too? Then shouldn't you guys give me some pocket money? I just saw a bracelet studded with diamonds. It's so shiny and beautiful." It was clearly the same face, but from her demeanor to her tone, even her body movements were different. The comments section immediately turned into a huddle. F***, I'm shivering. It feels like a supernatural event. Don't talk about acting. If the Vase Fairy had such acting skills, she would have won the Best Actress award long ago. Oh my God, I thought of a possibility. Maybe it's not amnesia. She's just been possessed by a weasel. You're tuning in to the Echo Reads YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.